And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank you for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live in the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere. Where do I begin? We got Shaq kind of backtracking on his initial viewpoints about the mandates. It's a good thing for me. I'm not trying to call him a hypocrite, but that's a good thing. We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, New York City Mayor Eric Adams using some really interesting kind of, some spicy language during a 2019 talk. We'll talk about that in a minute. Also, did you guys see the Chinese security guard at the Olympics ball guarding the man off of the camera while he was reporting? Like, what's going on with that? Is that something to be worried about or not? We'll talk about that in a minute as well. Also, the whole Joe Rogan drama is never ending. They caught him saying the N-word, quoting it on the podcast or whatever the case may be. Now they're trying to really get him canceled. Spotify is staying beside him, but at the same time not staying beside him. They done deleted like 100 episodes of the podcast to date. I think they got rid of 70 episodes over the past couple of days, but 100 in total throughout the time that Joe Rogan has been there. Very interesting, but we're going to talk about a lot more things that kind of interact with that. You guys are going to call in, and we're going to get to the bottom of all of it on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. If you enjoy what you've heard thus far, if you enjoy the show in general, if you enjoy the content, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. So we got a whole lot to discuss tonight, but you already know I got to shout out the sponsors first. Shout out to me first, ablmerch.com. You guys already know you want your hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more. I'm going to get some more of these hats in stock too. Don't worry about it. I'm wearing it right now. They're not in stock, but I'm going to get some more of these in stock. So y'all hang tight, ablmerch.com. That is ablmerch.com. Check it out. Links will be in the description box. Also, go to my regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. For every video I produce, I write an article. And in that article, I got my sources from all over the place, from left, right, center, independent, big, mainstream, local, random people, citizen journalists, whatever. I got it on anthonyblogan.com. You can also go to the contact page and find my contact information, my email address, my snail mail address. You can send me something in the mail. Don't send me nothing crazy because I will send the federales on you, all right? You can also find my social media accounts, my Twitter, my Facebook, my Instagram. All that good stuff is right on the website, anthonyblogan.com. Again, that is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. And if you want one of these beautiful handmade wooden flags that are right behind me, go to bhedesigns.com. That is BHEDESIGNS.com. Check them out right now. Links in the box. You can get ones just like those, identical, no difference. You can say, hey, can I get ABL's flags? You can get those or whatever you want, customized to you, straight from the rack, whatever you want. Go to the website, bhedesigns.com. Also, go to patriotpost.us, the best source of news and information anywhere on the internet. They've been around for a long time, 25 years, in the great state of Tennessee. Great guys. I've met them, talked to them, fantastic people, great website. Check them out right now. All the links will be in the description box below or in some kind of description section if you're listening to me on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether that be Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, Anchor, etc. And if you don't know, this is a podcast. So if you're watching me right now on the YouTubes and you want to hear the replay or you got to go somewhere or you want to be in the truck listening to it, you can listen to it just straight audio only for free on Spotify, etc. Links for that will be in the description box, or just go to the platform of your choice, whatever it is, and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. So we got a whole lot happening here. There's a whole lot going on. So let's start with the first things first. Where do I want to begin? I think I want to start with let's enter with Joe Rogan because it's kind of been ongoing. So I'll start with Joe Rogan and then we just meander throughout all the topics that we got going on and a few more things that I've not necessarily brought up or put into the title of the video. Now, Joe Rogan is under fire because apparently he said the N-word a few times on the podcast. Now, of course, I don't believe it was like he was calling somebody the N-word or nothing like that. He just said it on the podcast. Just like when Joe Biden said we don't need any more N-word big shots when he was quoting somebody else. Remember that? I'm not going to play any of the clips because I don't, put cursing and whatnot on the show. But you guys remember that clip from back in the day. Okay. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you guys a clip, but I'm not going to play it just so you can kind of understand what I'm saying. Okay. So here's the clip in question. You can see it if you go to my Twitter page. It's right there because I retweeted it. But you see, he says, quote, "We already have a N-word mayor. We don't need any more N-word big shots." He was quoting someone else, but he said the full word. He didn't say what I said, the whole N-word thing. No. He went out and just straight said the full word. So if Joe Biden said that and he got 90% of the black vote, 81 million votes, allegedly, the most out of any president in U.S. history, why aren't we canceling him? Okay. And then that is kind of tame compared to what the Young Turks have done. They had this whole, this montage of Joe Rogan using the N-word, right? But then you have a whole montage of the Young Turks using it. And not only the Young Turks, as far as Chuck Yeager and Anna, not just them, but some of their guests as well. They're quoting it sometimes. And then I think Chuck Yeager was kind of trying to be funny, trying to have on the black scent or whatever, using the N-word with the ER and the A, all types of stuff. So I don't want to hear anything from the Young Turks or these so-called progressives about this N-word, that, when they're using it themselves. Personally, I don't use any racial slurs. I don't even curse. So there's no excuse of, well, if you don't want anybody to use it, you don't use it. I don't use no racial slurs. I don't curse or nothing. I'm just, I'm Mr. Rogers. I speak the Queen's English. That's what I do. I don't do nothing like that. So when anybody wants to call here and start cussing and fussing, I'm like, well, can't curse, no racial slurs, keep everything PG, all right? We are a whole Disney Channel over here without all the weird stuff they do. It's funny because Disney, they actually get really worse than using the N-word, but that's a different story, and I digress. But you understand the point. The point is that I don't use any foul language, but these people that are clutching their pearls and whatnot, they do it all the time. So now they're trying to get Joe Rogan out of here. That's the whole thing. The whole thing about him being a so-called misinformation merchant, that didn't work. Trying to get celebrities to cancel him, that didn't work. But I think what India Ari did, the singer, I Am Not My Hair, remember her from back like in the early 2000s? You might not, but whatever. She came out and said, well, not only am I canceling Joe Rogan because of quote unquote misinformation, it's also because he used the N-word. He's racist. So if they can't get you as far as being misinformation, tinfoil hat, Alex Jones, then they want to say you're racist. But see, the main thing you should never, ever do is apologize. You should never apologize. Unfortunately, Joe Rogan did apologize. And let me see if I can find that clip right quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about. You should never apologize because once that happens, it's pretty much a wrap. So here's the apology, I suppose, from Mr. Joe Rogan. So let's play this right quick. And this is on his Instagram page, instagram.com, I think /Joe Rogan, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let's go ahead and check this out.
I'm making this video to talk about the most regretful and shameful thing that I've ever had to talk about publicly. There's a video that's out that's a compilation of me saying the N-word. It's a video that's made of clips taken out of context of me of 12 years of conversations on my podcast. And it's all smushed together, and it looks fucking horrible.
Sorry for the cursing. It's not my fault. Blame, for real, blame the black man right there. If you got little kids, go like that, because he will drop some colorful language. So pardon me for the cursing. I'm going to try to censor it, but the censor button ain't quick enough to really catch it.
Into me. Now, I know that to most people, there's no context where a white person is ever allowed to say that word, never mind publicly on a podcast. And I agree with that now. I haven't said it in years, but for a long time, when I would bring that word up, like if it would come up in conversation, instead of saying the N word, I would just say the word. I thought as long as it was in context, people would understand what I was.
And, you know, for the most part, they do understand. People do understand if you're using words in certain contexts, like if you're quoting it and stuff like that, they understand. Now, me personally, I have a no cursing policy, so I don't even do none of that personally. But you don't have a no cursing policy. And you're not saying things to be hurtful or vindictive when you're using some of these words, when you're quoting it and it's a certain context. People do understand. But then when there's a narrative out there, when there's a ploy against Joe Rogan because he has doctors on there that say different things in the federal government, when he has people on there, when he has a big audience that follow him, that listen to him, that trust him more than CNN, ABC, NBC, the federales themselves, when that's happening, they're going to do whatever they can to silence you. That's the whole purpose. And it's not going to work, to pause right quick, it's not going to work because even if Spotify tries to fire him, which they're not going to do, but they try to get him out of the way, buy him out of his contract, delete all his podcast episodes, he still has his own library. He still has his own stuff. He still owns the Joe Rogan Experience, the IP, whatever you want to call it, intellectual property. He still owns that. So nothing can be done to stop him except for the nuclear option, which we won't get into right now.
What I was doing. Like that context was part of the clip we were talking about Red Fox, how Red Fox said that word on television in the 1970s and how times have changed so much since then. Or about how Richard Pryor used it as one of the titles of one of his albums. Or I was quoting a Lenny Bruce bit, or I was quoting a Paul Mooney bit, or I was talking about how Quentin Tarantino used it repeatedly in Pulp Fiction. Or I was talking about how a Netflix executive, ironically, used it because he was trying to compare it to another offensive word, and he said it out loud, and they fired him.
He's very smart right here. He's giving the context. He was like, okay, y'all want to take context away from me? I'm giving you the context here. So you can't take my context. You can't take the whole situation away, okay? Although this is an apology, apparently, it's giving you the context. So it's like, don't just say I said these words without telling you what was going on, without telling you the reason why I said certain things.
Not calling anybody or just saying the word out loud. I was also talking about how there's not another word like it in the entire English language because it's a word where only one group of people is allowed to use it, and they can use it in so many different ways. Like if a white person says that word, it's racist and toxic, but a black person can use it and it could be a punchline. It could be a term of endearment. It could be lyrics to a rap song.
You know what? I'm gonna pause you right there. Others can say it. It's all about who is given who's not kicked back on. Well, put it to you this way. Only whites can't say it. Okay? If you're Hispanic, you can say it if you're from New York, generally. Jennifer Lopez said that on a record, and it didn't even get censored. Like, it didn't even get censored. You can hear that on MTV. Fat Joe says it all the time. It didn't even get censored. Like, it's like not even a problem. Big Pun, they're not black. They're 100% Puerto Rican. Not black at all, but since they kind of grew up as black people, essentially, they have that kind of license to be black. It's like it's not much of a line. It's not much of a difference between Dominicans, Cubans, Puerto Ricans, Haitians, Jamaicans, Black Americans in New York City. If I'm wrong about that, y'all let me know in the comments. But it's a cultural thing, in my humble opinion. Personally, like I said, I don't use that kind of language. I don't even curse at all. But that's me.
It could be a positive affirmation. It's a very unusual word, but it's not my word to use. I'm well aware of that now, but for years I used it in that manner. I never used it to be racist because I'm not racist, but whenever you're in a situation where you have to say, I'm not racist, you fucked up. And I clearly have fucked up.
I'm messing up. I'm sorry.
And that's my intention to express myself in this video, to say there's nothing I can do to take that back. I wish I could. Obviously, that's not possible. I do hope that, if anything, that this can be a teachable moment. Because I never thought it would ever be taken out of context and put in a video like that. And now that it is, holy...
No, they're labeling this as an apology, but I don't really hear the apology. He's saying I messed up, I effed up or whatever, but I'm not hearing I'm sorry. See, the media, they do stuff like that. Maybe he will say it in the remaining 2 minutes of this video, but I'm not sure. Just, I don't got a lot of time right here to play the entire thing. But the media, they'll hear you give a response in which you seem remorseful or apologetic, and they'll say you apologized. That's how the media does. This is why the mainstream media sucks. We don't listen to them anymore, because although you may not say a certain thing, they'll say you said it because it sounds that way. Or people won't go back and fact check you on that. That's kind of what's going on. But maybe he does apologize and say, I'm sorry, but I don't think so. And if you just aren't coming into the stream, what happened was Joe Rogan, there's a compilation of him using the N-word throughout the years of his podcast on the internet, kind of floating around. So now he has to respond. But he wasn't saying the N-word like in some kind of negative way. He was just kind of like using it in context. Just like the same way I'm saying what he's saying right now, I'm saying N-word, he would just, back in the past, he would just say the word. But I'm not saying N-word in a negative context. I'm just explaining to you what happened. It's the same thing that Joe Rogan was saying back when he was using it. That's it.
Holy shit, it looks bad. And it's part of also me doing this podcast for thousands of hours, thousands of episodes, over 12 years. I said a lot of fucking stupid shit, which is fine when you're talking about most things, but not when you're talking about race. And there's another clip that I have to address. There's a clip from 11 years ago. I was telling a story on the podcast about how me and my friend Tommy and his girlfriend, we got really high. We were in Philadelphia, and we went to go see Planet of the Apes. And we didn't know where we were going. We just got dropped off by a cab, and we got dropped off in this all-black neighborhood. And I was trying to make the story entertaining, and I said we got out, and it was like we were in Africa. It's like we were in Planet of the Apes. I did not, nor would I ever say that black people are apes, but it sure fucking sounded like that.
And you know what? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna put it to you like this. Wow, this is crazy because people are going to find that offensive. But I'm going to tell a quick story, just real quick, and I'm going to try to be vague because these guys they're cool people. Now, back when I was a graphic designer, I was doing like CD covers for guys, like, guys that were trying to rap. I was doing their CD covers. And some of the guys I was doing the cover for, their theme was Planet of the Apes, and they were all black. And these guys are street guys for real, like 100%. These are not guys that would, how can I say? These are not college guys or suburb type guys. They're not guys like me. These guys will shoot you, and there's no problem. Okay, I'm just giving you the context so you understand, because I think that a thing like context is lost in today's society. But anyway, these are 1,000% street dudes. Like guys would go to jail and come back, and then you do a new CD for them. Welcome home, X, Y, and Z person. But anyway, the theme was Planet of the Apes, and they were all like different apes. And one of the covers, you had like the top guy from the group. It was half of his face and half of the ape face. If I could show it to you, but I don't want to drag nobody into my particular story. You understand what I'm saying? But the whole point is that these guys are all black, street dudes, will shoot you, and they're comparing themselves to it. So if they compare themselves to it, then that's totally fine. That's not a problem, right? But if Joe Rogan makes a joke about that, then that's wrong. It's just kind of weird. I feel like if you got these black comedians make jokes about white people all the time, and there's all types of stuff that's it could be offensive, and it's got to be kind of a two-way street. it's got to be a two-way street. If you're a black comedian and you make white jokes, it's got to be the same way back. That's just how I feel about it. Now, again, me, I don't even engage in that. I'm Mr. Rogers. Okay, that's me. I'm Ned Flanders. But if you are not that and you engaging in that kind of those kind of jokes, hey man, if you're going to dish it out, you got to be able to take it. But I'll move on.
And I immediately afterwards said,
somebody says, you know dang well what he meant. He said what he said. He meant what he said. But what I said is correct. And if you make white jokes and he makes a black joke back, I mean, what are you supposed to do? I don't really understand.
That's a racist thing to say. Planet of the Apes wasn't even in Africa. I was just saying there's a lot of black people there. But then I went on to talk about what a positive experience it was and how much fun it was to go to see this movie in a black neighborhood. It wasn't a racist story. But
of course, that part doesn't get played because all that matters is the part that offends me.
It sounded terrible. And like I said, you can have clunky stories about anything, but not about race. And so
now somebody says you should be able to use all words. Well, let's just be real though, because you can't say certain things to offend people. It's just like, and it's always a time and place, but I don't think there should be an overreaction, and there should be some acceptance for context. Like prime example, if you have two women, right, and they throw around the B word to each other and it's playful, not meant to be hurtful or nothing like that, that scene is totally normal. But if you are walking with your wife and some dude calls her the B word aggressively, you got to get your gun and be ready to shoot. Because at that point, now it's danger. You see what I'm saying? Although he didn't touch her or nothing like that, he just said it. So the same word can be used by different people, and the context can mean aggression, danger, beware. Or it may not even be danger, beware, but still, if some dude is calling your wife the B word over and over again, you got to be ready to fight. Versus if it's just two girls calling themselves that, it's playful and nobody's getting their feelings hurt. There's no threat level there. So you can say what you want, but you got to understand that you can't just insult people. But I don't think just using certain words is necessarily inherently insulting. The context matters.
I deleted that whole podcast, but obviously somebody made a clip out of it and taken out of context. It looks terrible, but it looks terrible even in context. It's a fucking idiotic thing to say. And I was just trying to be entertaining. I certainly wasn't trying to be racist. And I certainly would never want to offend someone for entertainment with something as stupid as racism. My hope is that, look, I can't go back in time and change what I've said. I wish I could. Obviously, that's not possible. But I do hope that this can be a teachable moment for anybody that doesn't realize how offensive that word can be coming out of a white person's mouth, in context or out of context. My sincere and humble apologies.
Oh, so he did apologize. Okay, so now he apologized. Let's let him finish.
I wish there was more that I could say, but all of this is just me talking from the bottom of my heart. It makes me sick watching that video. But
okay, so there you have it. There's Joe Rogan's apology. Now, here's the thing about Joe. Now, he will not get canceled at all by that video. Not at all. Because if you're going to cancel him, you got to cancel Joe Biden, Young Turks, Justin Bieber, everybody that's used it, right? He won't get canceled for that. But by him apologizing, that's going to put him in a weird situation because now this whole thing with Spotify has just started. It ain't really going to end. I don't think this is the end of it because some of these things that happen on social media, you could kind of ride the wave, ride it out, and just let it kind of blow over. But then when you buy into it, when you apologize and when you try to capitulate, when you try to cop please, that's when they make it worse. Just like with the LGBT stuff. Like with, what was that? Kevin Hart. When there were some old tweets that got found, it was some quote unquote anti-LGBT rhetoric or whatever. Then if he apologized, I think he did apologize or something like that. it's not going to be enough because now they got you. It's like, oh, now basically you submitted to me. So what I'm gonna make you do now is talk to all the LGBT organizations, do a free show, do a drag queen show. Matter of fact, here's a dress. Put this dress on SNL and go prance around. And that's what he did. He put on the dress and started prancing around because now you got to be part of the community. You're part of us now. Now we got you by the short. You know what I mean? We got you. So now you do what we say you do. Now you're part of our circle and our sphere, not as a peer, but as an employee, as a worker, to push for our agenda, to push for our message. So hopefully they don't try to play Joe Rogan like that. If Spotify wants to fold and they want to kick him off the platform, that's only going to hurt Spotify. It won't hurt Joe Rogan because wherever Joe Rogan goes, we're going to go. Those listening to Joe Rogan, you're not going to be able to cancel him. Okay, he had a humongous following on YouTube and abandoned it. As far as having the podcast, premiere on there, abandoned the whole thing as far as the full podcast and went to a whole different network and got that really cracking. He could do the same thing somewhere else. He could start his own podcast network and it'll do very well. It'll do very well. And then at that point, he can't be canceled or nothing like that. The only thing with these big companies is that they have a lot of money to be able to give you up front. Okay, Joe Rogan is not going to be a poor man, obviously, but if he got $100 million, $200 million, that's a lot of money from a place to get at once. And you do a lot less work on your own. All he's got to do is just go out there and talk. That's not necessarily easy to do podcasts for 3 hours, multiple times a day or week or whatever. That's not necessarily the easiest thing to do in the world, to book all the guests and do all that stuff. It's not easy, but at the same time, you got a whole team behind you to do all the other things that you would normally do by yourself, and you're able to get money up front. So that's the benefit of Spotify, but without Spotify, he'd be just fine. So it'd be their loss and not his, but I'll move on. Thank you guys for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you guys enjoyed what you're hearing so far tonight, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And what else we got going on? Let's talk about, speaking about N-words and whatnot, let's talk about someone else who used some racial slurs and will not have any consequences at all. Okay? Let's talk about Eric Adams, New York City Mayor. Now, Joe Rogan, there's a compilation about him that's floating around that encompasses 12 years of material into like 2 minutes, 120 seconds. But Eric Adams had a full speech out there in New York City in 2019. And it's crazy because the clip existed since then, but it's only now being put out because of some vindictive stuff. So there was a guy. Let me see if I can find the guy's name. Hold on one second. Matter of fact, let me see if I can just play the I'm gonna just try to play the news. And this is gonna have a slur in it, but it's the it's saltines. When you hear the cracker word, just know that he's talking about like saltines. You know, you put them in your soup, your clam chowder, your chicken noodle soup, or whatever.
Every day in the police.
Hold on. Matter of fact, when I was a kid, I used to eat crackers with peanut butter and jelly, like a little sandwich. Now, if you ain't had no bread, put them on the club cracker, you'd be good to go. So we're talking about food and beverage, not race. So for the YouTube censors, if you're anybody else, there's no equivalent food or beverage or anything like that to the N-word, but there is to the so-called C word. So we're talking about food and beverage, nothing else. But here's the video right here that is in question. Matter of fact, hold on. What I want to do is play the news clip, because that right there, that was going to be the actual full version. But I want to play the news clip because that gives you more context. So let's go ahead and play that right quick. And also, Eric Adams apologized for what he said. That apology will be accepted. They won't say there's anything wrong with that. It's all good because he black.
And now to an apology.
He black and he a liberal. That's something else. If you're a liberal, it won't be a problem. If you're the Young Turks, it's not a problem. Joe Biden, not a problem. But if you are Joe Rogan and you kind of seen as independent a little bit, not really kowtowing to the liberal Democratic Party, then you're going to get attacked. But we'll move on.
From Mayor Adams for an inappropriate comment he made in 2019 about white police officers.
The video was made public today, and CBS 2's political reporter Marcia Kramer investigated.
Although he apologized to New Yorkers late today, Mayor Adams tried to put the comment in context, saying he was responding to a question in which the inappropriate comment was used, and he repeated it as part of his answer.
Every day in the police department, I kicked those crackers' ass, man. I was unbelievable in the police department.
A furor to
So was that to be used? Now, okay, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Let's see what he says about the context in a little bit.
Tonight over the sudden posting on social media of a racially charged comment made by Eric Adams during a December 2019 appearance at the Harlem Business Alliance. The man who posted the video, Thomas Lopez Pierre of the Black Lives Matter real estate firm, told me that he purposely picked the clip he posted, which was in the middle of a half-hour appearance by the mayor.
Why did you pick that specific?
Just like a quick observation. This room is filthy. I'm sorry. I'm getting super triggered. When I saw that, when I was doing the video and I saw that, I was about to fly off the handle. I'm a neat freak. Like, I'm one of these guys that you come in the crib, you're not going to see a speck of dirt on the ground. So when I see this, all I see is chaos, a chaotic mind. But I'm going to move on. That was on my heart. I had to get it off. So please pardon me. Let's back up a little bit so we don't miss context.
By the mayor.
Why did you pick that specific point to start your clip?
Because we live in a social media world, and I knew it would be attention grabbing.
Thomas Lopez Pierre also telling me he didn't release video of the appearance at the time because he thought it would hurt Eric Adams' chances of being elected mayor. He moved now, he said, because he thinks Adams has been spending too much time talking about hiring more cops and not about improving the economic health of minority communities.
All I've been hearing is cops this, cops that. You know, listen, black people have been getting killed. There have been more black people killed this year than police officers.
So basically, the guy's vindictive. He has an axe to grind against the mayor because he's not doing what he thinks he should be doing. He's thinking about, the cops are murderers, all this, that, and the third. So that's why he's picking now to release this when he's had it since 2019, almost 3 years ago. Funny how that works, but that's how the left operate.
Police officers decided to put on a uniform. They decided to take the risk.
Lopez Pierre, whose brother was killed by an off-duty cop during a carjacking, is no stranger to controversy. Running for city council in 2017, he tried to use $100,000 in taxpayer dollars taken from public campaign matching funds to spread anti-Semitic hate attacks against his opponent, Councilman Mark Levine.
Okay, if you didn't see that, it was talking about Jewish landlords. So, yeah. I guess that's fine too, right? Because he's kind of racially ambiguous. But if that was a white guy, a white conservative guy talking about Jewish landlords, you know what that would be? That'd be Richard Spencer. That'd be one of these, what they call them, right-wing Nazis or whatever. And the craziest woke take of 2022 is that Hitler was not racist. That's wild, but we'll move on. So let's hear what Eric Adams says as far as his apology.
Hate attacks against his opponent, Councilman Mark Levine. Late today, Adams apologized.
Inappropriate comments should not have been used. Someone asking me a question using that comment and playing on that word, I responded in that comment. But clearly, it's a comment that should not be used.
So I don't really understand. Like, if someone uses a racial slur in a question towards you, must you repeat it? I mean, is that what you have to do? It appears like you were saying it because you felt it, not because, they said it in the comment. I'm just responding to their comment. I don't understand it makes any sense.
I apologize not only to those who heard it, but to New Yorkers because they should expect more from me, and that was inappropriate.
The police unions are standing foursquare with Adams. Both the PBA and the detectives union say actions speak louder than words, and Adams' support for cops being shot and killed says it all.
Oh, so there you have it. So Eric Adams won't have any problems. The mainstream media has not covered that. Have you seen that in the mainstream media? I know a lot of you guys probably don't watch the mainstream media. As you know, I don't watch mainstream media, but some of you guys may be forced to watch it. You might have a relative or a friend or family, whatever, they watch it. You might be in the auto repair shop, might be in the airport or whatever. Have you heard the mainstream media talk about what Eric Adams said? Is that really a hot topic, even on the internet? But you see Joe Rogan everywhere. Why? It's because of how popular he is. It's because he has the ear of the youth and of everybody else. Really, if you are under 55, you probably listen to Joe Rogan, or even over that. But definitely under it, definitely the young people, they have Joe Rogan has their ear, and that's why they want to try to cancel him, get him out the way. But Eric Adams is totally fine. You're a liberal Democrat. You're doing what we want you to do. You're talking about how you're going to be tough on crime, but you're siding with Alvin Bragg. You know, I was watching the news today, and it's crazy what things are considered news and groundbreaking. Now, what's his name? Adam Bragg. I'll make sure I get the name right here. Okay. Alvin Bragg. Okay. Alvin Bragg, the new DA from Manhattan, he is one of these guys that believes in not prosecuting a lot of major crimes. Major crimes, violent crimes, not even going to be a felony. So I think today they announced that if you rob a store with a gun or a knife, that's going to be a felony. It's like, wow, really? Armed robbery with a gun is a felony? Wow, say it ain't so. I mean, that's amazing, groundbreaking. Like, in what world is robbing someone with a gun not a felony? A gun, like, give it up. Give me your money. Give me your wallet. With a gun or a knife, that's not a felony. To announce that is just nuts. So it's like they are under promising to over deliver, but in reality, they're doing the bare minimum by charging violent crimes as violent crimes. How could an armed robbery not be a felony? Burglary and stuff like that. I think they said that if there's a home invasion and the family's not there, then it'd be a misdemeanor. Just like burglary and like larceny. But you went into my house though. How does it, I don't understand. It's like, okay, you go into my place of residence. If I'm there in certain parts of the world, definitely where I live, I'm not sure about New York and New York City, but if you enter my home and I didn't invite you, hey man, it's going to be a surprise. It's going to be Chinese New Year. You know what I'm talking about? Chinese New Year. If I had any weapons, which are all gone because, you know, tried to catch a boat in an accident, it was terrible, kids are crying, flames everywhere. But if I had any quote-unquote fireworks to use, oh, they'd be shooting off for sure. It'd be a spectacular light show. It'd be like the ball dropping New Year's Eve in New York City. In my house, no, that's not going to happen. Stay over there. Don't come over here. That's how that would work. But if the family's not home, it's not a felony. Like, what world do we live in where that's the reality? But I'll move on. I will move away from that particular issue. So, yeah, shout out to Eric Adams. For you guys to live up there in New York City, and man, my heart's out to you, man. Hopefully, you guys are able to survive, man. It's becoming Gotham City out here. It's really crazy. I'm hearing about, like, all jokes aside, I'm hearing about some really heinous crimes. And I was watching news also where it was a physician. I'm not sure if he was a doctor or a nurse or whatever, but the lady was saying that they've gone away from seeing a lot of the virus cases, and they're seeing like severe trauma, blunt force trauma, gunshot, knife. Like one person was on a bicycle riding their bike. They were lured off the bike and beaten down by a group of people, not just one person or two, but they were beaten by a lot of people at once, one person. That's happening right now in New York City. That is like something you would see in a video game or like in a movie like Mad Max, Blade Runner, or something like that. Judge Dredd. That's where we kind of at nowadays. So in the face of heightening crime, more dangerous crime, drugged out psychopath roaming the street, in the face of that, you want to get softer on crime with no bail and no felonies for violent crime? It's the dumbest thing in the world. It's so silly, right? But I'll move on. Who is the Batman? That's a good question. Is there a Batman? Man, we need a Batman out there in New York City. Ain't no Batman. Joker and them have taken over the place. That's pretty much it. Every man is Batman, or you need to be Batman. You need to have some kind of underground chamber, a bunch of money, some gadgets, a zip line to get up out of Dodge or something. But I think the reality is, for most of us, if you're living in a place like that, you can't be Batman. All you can do is get a U-Haul or pack up your little your Dodge Dart and get up out of Dodge. No pun intended. All right, but let's get to some more topics here. And if you enjoyed the show tonight, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. So let's talk about the Chinese security guard. Have you guys seen that video? You know what? Nobody is surprised. If you pay any attention at all to world politics, if you watch me, if you watch anybody else, and they've spoken about China, you're not surprised at all. What happened with the security guard is exactly why people were warned about going to China. Nancy Pelosi was right with what she said. And I never thought I would say that. Nancy Pelosi was right. But I don't understand. Like, what she said was correct about if you go to China, don't say anything. Don't speak out against China because it's going to be crazy. Matter of fact, hold on, here it is. Here's the whole thing. Now, I'm not saying that what China does is right. Don't get that twisted. I'm not saying that you have to kowtow to China, but if you're going to be over there, you're in their territory. What are you going to do? You have no other recourse. So here's what Pelosi said. Pelosi warns U.S. athletes not to risk, quote, incurring the anger of ruthless Chinese government during Olympics. Now, where's the lie? I don't understand why anybody's mad about that. You should be mad at China, not Nancy Pelosi. She's telling you the truth. It's like, man, if you go over there, you got to understand where you at. Like, this is not America. And America is to the point where you can get a big garbage bag, one of these all-purpose black garbage bags, and go to Walgreens and stock up. Just take the shelf, like, brrr, take everything, put it in a bag, and roll out. Anybody going to touch you. But in China, you might lose your life doing that. You might lose your life. Matter of fact, you'd be disappeared. They won't know where you at. Where's X, Y, and Z person? Where's Charlie? Charlie in the gulag. Big rocks, little rocks. What's going on with Charlie right now? Okay. Matter of fact, did she say anything else? Okay, she was speaking at a hearing. Yeah, they are ruthless. That's a fact. Okay, here's something else. Quote, I know there's a temptation on the part of some to speak out while they're there, Pelosi added. One day ahead of the opening of the Olympic Games. I respect that, but I also worry about what the Chinese government might do to their reputations, to their families. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, what she's saying is not wrong. This is why people shouldn't be going to China for the Olympics. They should not have the Olympics in China. China, look, people don't understand how great they have it here in the United States. They don't really get it. Even in some of these liberal, ridiculous places, you have a much better time than living in a place like China. China is not necessarily dangerous like the way it can be in some parts of the U.S. Not necessarily. But the problem is you don't have any freedom. There's no human rights, really. They could do whatever they want to you, and it's fine. That's just kind of what they do. It don't matter if you're rich, poor, whatever. They could do whatever they want. Remember when Jack Ma went missing, the richest guy in China? Like, imagine Jeff Bezos go missing. Just go missing and then pop back up like nothing happened. There's no questions. Hey, where you been? The federales ain't going to be on it. There's not going to be any updates from the government to say what happened to Jeff Bezos. And no. We'll just you get vanished and that'll be it. If you come back, then congrats. You made some kind of deal. You survived. But if you don't come back, oh well, ain't going to be no search party. You just be gone. That's China. So it is what it is. Okay? It is what it is. Everybody knows that. So what she said was 1,000% right. Nobody can say she's lying. The anger should be directed toward China, not Nancy Pelosi. And I know that kind of hurts me to say it, but it's a fact. I can't sit here and tell a lie to you guys about what someone says. It's just a reality of the situation. Now, let me go to the clip in question where the agent was pulled off of television, live on TV. Hold on. Let's put it up right quick. And so for you guys that don't understand Dutch or Mandarin, I'll tell you what they said after the clip is over. But if you're watching the clip, you could kind of understand. Matter of fact, if you're listening to the clip, you pretty much understand what's happening. Now, to give a little bit of a preview of it, you have a Dutch reporter talking to his colleague back, I think probably Netherlands somewhere, wherever their headquarters is. He's reporting live from Peking, China. He's on like a kind of a street corner, but he's not in the street. He's like on a grassy part by the sidewalk, which is right next to the street, but he's not blocking the road at all. So he's talking, and all of a sudden, here comes a Chinese official cutting him off live on air. So let's check it out.
We gaan naar China, naar onze correspondent Sjoerd den Daas. Sjoerd, jij staat vlakbij het stadion. Wat gaat China de komende uren laten zien?
Ja, hey, 稍等一会儿，我现在在新闻联播。Ja, we worden hier inmiddels, je merkt het, al weggetrokken. We zijn net ook al bij een ander gebied weggezet. Dus ik vrees dat wij later even bij je moeten terugkomen.
Dat
kan halen, ja.
denk ik ook, Sjoerd. We gaan door met het volgende onderwerp. Ja.
So there was a lot going on right there. I mean, look at the face of the lady. Look at this. Like, why are you surprised? This is China. You know where you at. You already know what time it is. This can happen to you. Now, luckily, the guy does not appear to be in serious danger. Luckily. And what happened was, in Dutch, the guy was, I'm not sure what he was saying in the beginning as far as the news segment, but when a Chinese guy came, it was funny because he spoke Mandarin to him, which that was kind of funny. But anyway, but in Dutch, he was saying to the guy, well, I think he was saying to the guy, hold on 1 second, just 1 minute. And then in Dutch, he was saying, what do you say? Oh, we've been moved once before. Now they're moving us again. So apparently they're not really in the right spot to do a news report. I don't really know. Like I said, they were not in the street. They were not blocking the road. You see where they were at? It's like this little grassy area they were. And he was being pushed off of the grassy area onto a sidewalk area, which is close to the street, but he was not in the way. I'm not sure why they were moving him, but that's what happened. So, and the guy was saying in Mandarin, come this way, come on, come over here, come this way, basically. That's China. That's what they do. They don't really, you know what I mean? In America, that would have been different the way they handled it. And you know the funny part about China? They have a bunch of bots. The bot game in China is crazy. When I posted that video, a bunch of the bots flooded in. They got bots on they got bots on YouTube, Reddit, everywhere you go. On the original video, they'll post as quote unquote regular people, which you tell is not regular people. They got this software where they can artificially they can procedurally generate faces. They do that. It's kind of hard to explain that whole process, but basically, if you see something, I'm gonna try to find one of these guys, and I'm gonna show you kind of what I mean. I'll show you better than I can tell you. But basically, they have a whole a bot army responding to some of the clips to put out misinformation. So when you see 100 replies to say similar things from American looking and sounding profiles, a lot of normals may think it's the truth. They read comments and they get information from the comments. So they see 50 comments that say the similar thing, and others, because they kind of want to be, I'm not really sure, they kind of want to agree with it, or they want to be, how can I say, they want to be a contrarian. They will co-sign the Chinese bot. That's how that works. I'm going to try to find that particular one I'm talking about right now, so you kind of get an idea of where I'm going. But they do that. It's a whole thing they got going on. Censorship, whatever it is, they want to control the narrative in China, which is part of the reason why you shouldn't go over there. Okay, if you are a network talking about the Uyghurs and Tibet, Hong Kong, all of that, Taiwan, man, they're not trying to really deal with you at all. At all. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that clip. Okay. So, oh, this is perfect. There we go. So here is the original clip from Jack Posobiec. And if you're on Twitter, please follow Jack Posobiec. JackPosobiec. So here's a clip right there, and then here's a comment right up under it. The person's name, Chakin Wiltz Buckers. Is that a real name? Is that a real name? Does it make any? Do you know anybody with this kind of name? Anthony, that's a common name. Jack is a common name. Chacken, Chacen, Wilts, Wilts, Buckers, Buckers. Is that a real name? And his Twitter profile, the username says Conserva Bra, BRAH. Okay, now let's take a look at his face right quick. Let's look at his face to see kind of what's going on. Is that a real face? You think it's a real? You think that's a real face? It looks kind of off. The color is monotone. It's a random like blank background. It's not a real face. The mouth was a little off. This is a computer generated face. Understand this. It's a lot of that going on the internet. They have in China fake social media influencers, meaning they have social media influencers who are like AIs. 100,000 followers, million followers, and AI, not even the real person at all. They got famous bots over in China. Okay? This is what's going on. Oh, TikTok is a whole different beast. I see what you say right there, MK Ultra. TikTok is a whole different. TikTok is China's revenge for the Opium War. Keeping it all the way real, but that's a really deep story, so I don't want to go down that road. But this is what's happening on TikTok and social media, places like that. A lot of bots that appear to be kind of real, but aren't at all. Not at all. Not in the least bit. You see what I'm saying? So that was a long way to say that on the video I posted about the whole Chinese security guard, that video has a lot of those guys on it. Anything dealing with China, they own it right away. They'll nitpick, oh, well, he didn't get really dragged. You can kind of tell it at a certain point. The English is kind of weird. Okay, it's kind of strange. Right? That's just what it is. But I'll move on. So getting back to the Chinese guy. Now, they have these red armbands on. From what I'm reading, that's a volunteer, quote unquote, volunteer security force. It's like 85,000 of them in China or more. And it's like a neighborhood watch, an enhanced neighborhood watch, basically. And they're all over the place. And they're probably really heavy right now in Beijing because of the Olympics. Oh, and also they told you, meaning the government told athletes to bring burner devices when they go to China because there's no privacy. And what a burner device is, if you don't know, that's like a disposable cell phone or a disposable iPad. So don't have any of your personal data on it. Have that if you need to contact somebody and things of that nature, but don't put your personal data on there because they're going to hack that. People, they connect to these random Wi-Fi, these random Wi-Fi places. Like in airports, it's the worst. If you go to an airport, or how can I say, not even an airport, airports, but if you go to kind of sketchy areas, even in the US, and there's an open Wi-Fi and you connect to it, that could be a hacker trying to steal your data. They got like these mobile Wi-Fi towers where you can connect to it, and then they can take your data that way. So if you are LeBron James, for example, going to the Olympics, do not bring your phone. They're going to take that data. Whatever you got on, they don't care. They'll steal, they'll rob. China, they're not an ethical place. There's no empathy or ethics involved with China and what they do. They don't have that. This is why they go all over the world and they engage in the whole debt diplomacy. They give you a big bag of money in exchange for, I don't know, let's say it's a loan. And if you can't pay the loan, which you're not going to be able to pay because I know you can't pay it, that's the reason why they give you the money, because they want to get you in a debt trap. And man, you can't pay that money back. Well, we need that port right there we built. We built the port for you, but you can't pay the payments for it. So how about we take that for you? We'll take that. And that was a plan from the beginning. It did that in Pakistan, parts of Africa, parts of Europe, I presume. They do all over the place. There's no empathy. There's no sense of, doing right by people. They don't care. Whatever they can get, they're going to get, period. They steal intellectual property. You know what I mean? Like, here's a good example, great example, matter of fact. Now, in the States, we have this whole thing where they're trying to push black-owned business, right? There's a whole big program and rollout from Google. Not for me, of course, because I don't really fit into the black-owned business thing, but follow me. So it's commercials on TV. They'll point you out, oh, this is a black-owned business. We're gonna support them. We're gonna celebrate them, all this, that, and the third. Now, the business could be some kind of hair care product where it's like a tool. And matter of fact, there was a whole movie about this called Good Hair by Chris Rock. It'll be a tool that you use that some black person in America invented. Now, what China will do is come to the United States, buy the actual product, not any kind of intellectual property. They're not going to buy it from you. They'll take the product, take it back to China, just straight steal it from you, and send it to the beauty supply stores for like a third of the price. They don't care. They do not care. What, you going to sue them? How? How you going to sue? In what court? In China, forget about it. Don't even do it. That's what they do. But I move on. China does not have ingenuity like that. What they have is production. They take our ingenuity and produce over there. But the problem is we send our ingenuity to them to produce. That's why you got these, what they call them, variants or Jordans, these fake shoes. They're not really fake. They're made by the same people in the same factories, but they're not sold through the normal channels. You see how that goes? Like they'll make some on the side in a different place, different factory, to put money in their pocket that way, rather than you getting it from the Nike store. You get it straight from Guangzhou or somewhere like that. That's how that goes. And it's getting to the point now where they don't even really try to hide. They don't try to go through U.S. Companies anymore to sell their products. These companies like Fashion Nova and Shein and places like that, that's straight Chinese. That's straight from China. There ain't no U.S. store that sells Fashion Nova or Shein. That's a Chinese company directly. You buying from China. That's how it works now. But I'm going down the rabbit hole, so I digress. So yeah, enjoy your Chinese crap from Amazon. Enjoy that. We need more production over here. And if we don't get that, it's going to be a problem. But let's get to Shaq talking about the mandates. Now, remember, Shaq, he did not like Kyrie Irving not getting the vax, remember? Because Kyrie Irving played for the New Jersey Nets, the Brooklyn Nets, and there's a vax mandate in New York City. So in order for Kyrie Irving to play in New York, half of the games, because every NBA game plays half the games at home, half the games on the road, he needs to get the vax. But he didn't do that, so they put him on the bench. They put him on the bench and said, okay, you can't play. So Shaq was like, hey, man, if that was my teammate, I'll tell him go out there and play the game, man. You got to do the best thing for the team, Kyrie. If you don't want to play, then you got to get out of here, man. I put hands and feet on Kyrie Irving, man. This is ridiculous, man. That's what he said about Kyrie back then, right? So I'm like, okay, Shaq must be in favor of the vax and the vax mandate. All this, I'll put hands and feet. All of that right there makes me think that you would get the vax to go out there and play for the team rather than just saying, you know what, I want to do what I want to do for myself. So that's what I thought back then. But now he's come out and said, hey, you know what, I'm against them forcing people to do it. I'm against that 100%. I'll put hands and feet. I'm glad you guys like that impression. That's one of my favorite ones right there, Shaq. So shout out to Shaq. But here's Shaq, not me saying it, but here is Shaq talking about the vax mandate and being against them.
Look, I encourage everybody to be safe and take care of your family. I do. But there's still some people that don't want to take it, and you shouldn't have to be forced to take something that you don't want. So
I don't think people are being forced to take. Well, there are some. There are. I mean, listen, we have a mandate at CBS.
That's force.
We have a mandate at CBS. But my point.
That's force.
But where I wholeheartedly.
That's force.
No, it's not force.
It is force, because if the man don't take it, the man gonna get fired.
And that's facts. That's big facts. Like, how can anybody say he's wrong about that? And by the way, that person was Nichelle Turner, his co-host on the Big Podcast. It's his podcast called The Big Podcast with Shaq. And the other co-host is Anthony Spice Adams. Okay. So now that was not me talking. That was Shaq. So if you listen to the audio, that was Shaq for real, not me. On that part. But in the first part, that was me doing a Shaq impression. But so Nichelle Turner, she's on Entertainment Tonight, and Anthony Spice Adams was an NFL player. Now he just kind of does like entertainment and social media and stuff like that. But anyway, what he said was right on point. It's the force. And it's weird. I hear that a lot. They say, "Oh, you're not being forced. You're just being coerced with your job, your house, your money, your car, your kids, your dog, everything." It's like saying, if somebody has a gun to your head and says, "Hey, man, give me the money," and you give the money up, that you weren't forced to give the money up. It's like, what options do I have, sir? Lose my life or give up the money? I'm being forced to do things I don't want to do. I'm being forced to do one or two things. I'm being forced to get shot and die probably, or give up my money. I don't want to do either. I'm being forced. I don't have a real option that I want to do. Okay, same thing with the shot. It's like, okay, I'm playing basketball. I've worked my whole life to get here. I've dedicated a lot of time and energy to my craft. And now I'm being told, hey, if you don't get this vax, you're going to get put on the bench and lose $20 million. How is that a choice? That's not a choice at all. I don't want to get the vax, so now I'm being forced to. Either you take the vax or it's consequences. You're bringing in a whole new rule to the game. You're changing the game midway through. That's called force. So yeah, people that say that, I don't really understand how they can, like, people don't understand what the word force means. They don't really get it. Yes, there is force, 100%. And I'm not sure why Shaq changed his mind. I'm glad that he did. But you know what? I got to pause. Hopefully he did change his mind, because he still may think that it's wrong for Kyrie to not get the vax, which I don't understand why he would say that, because if it's wrong for Kyrie to not get the vax, then how can you also say that it's forced and the man shouldn't be forced to get the shot if you don't want to get the shot? I don't understand. So there could be a change of mind here. I'm not sure how it happened. Maybe because, talking to Kyrie Irving, talking to other guys, and just seeing how ridiculous a lot of this stuff is. Okay. It's just kind of silly. Like, especially right now with the whole mask thing. The mask mandate is the dumbest thing in the world, and it's getting dumber. Have you guys seen this particular thing from Vice News? Hold on. I think when people like Shaq see ridiculous stuff like what I'm about to show you right here, they're going to be like, okay, like, what's really going on? What's happening? I think maybe what I've been told is not true. Okay, all these mandates, especially when people get sick still, you can still catch it, spread it, get sick, kick the bucket, all that good stuff. But I got to get the shot, and I got to get them repeatedly, not just one, not just two, not just three. I got to get booster number 4, booster number 5, booster number 6. I got to take pills. I got to do everything, and I'm still catching it. For what? So at a certain point, maybe he just kind of realized on his own that this thing don't make no sense, and I'm being forced to do things that don't even help me. Maybe that's what he's thinking right now, but here is what I was saying about Vice. So scientists find putting pantyhose on your head makes your mask safer. They're dead serious. Dead serious. Okay. The subhead says, after testing 7 ways to make mask seals better around the face, researchers found that a pair of hosiery does the trick best. And they got pictures right here. Nothing weird, but just pantyhose. Like, look, check it out. Check it out. Listen to me very well. Listen. If I see you in Panera Bread, Food City, Wally World, Target with pantyhose over your mask, I'm calling the federales. I'm calling the authorities ASAP. This is ridiculous. Pantyhose for real? Sir, really? Is that what we're going to do? I mean, so my man that was on the flight, what was that, United Airlines or whatever? Man that was on the flight that kicked off for wearing the women's underwears on his face should get redemption. He was right on point from the beginning. Remember that whole story? He had panties on his face for a mask and was kicked off the flight. I'm like, he was ahead of the game. He was in the future. He was living in 2022 and 2021. Give them a bonus, give them a raise, give them some kind of award. When you see things like this, you like, come on, man, y'all are just playing games. Y'all are playing games. And they got a whole little thing right here. Hold on. This is not satire. Not satire at all. There's a whole study from Cambridge. I promise you. Search it, and you'll see. So here's a little guidelines. A better seal around the edges of the masks means more protection from the virus, but most consumer level surgical masks and N95 leave gaps around the sides. Researchers tested 7 different hacks that attempt to close the gaps on surgical and KN95 masks. So you know what? I got a good suggestion. Get you a Food Line bag, right? Hear me out. Get you a plastic Food Line bag and just throw it on top of your head. Now you got to be able to breathe. I'm not sure how you're going to breathe with your mask totally sealed up and no air being able to come in, but hey man, you got to figure that out. So if you could put the plastic bag on top of your head and still breathe, then you got a great option. You got a great option. Matter of fact, get you an astronaut suit. Holler at Buzz Armstrong, whatever his name is. Get one of them moon landing suits, allegedly. Put that on, and you be good to go. You be good money. Because the pantyhose, I'm not really sure it's going to really be the wave. How you going to go to Family Dollar and be like, yeah, man, can I get the little stockings in a little ball? Remember the little egg ball? Yeah, me get that egg ball so I can put it on my face because I want to be safe out here in these streets. I mean, so here's the list. Taping the edges of the mask to one's face. Tape. So packing tape, scotch tape, duct tape. What are we talking about? What if I got a beard or stubble or I got sensitive skin? How am I going to do that? Filling the sides of a mask with gauze. So put gauze on your mask. That'll help it, maintain the seal so no cooties will get in, right? Binding the mask to the face with gauze, the mummy method. So, tie it up, be a whole mummy, tie your face up with gauze. Putting a knot in the ear loops. So, yeah, just tie it, make it tight on your face. Rubber bands around the front to create a brace against the mouth. Okay, so I got a big head, so that's gonna snap the band instantly. So I can't really put that on top of my jank. How about zip ties around your mask? Will that work? The police zip ties. Put that on your mask, and you got a nice tight seal, right? A slice of pantyhose wrapped around the face. So those are the ways to close the gap in your KN95 and surgical masks. This is on Vice News. Here it's a study from University of Cambridge, okay? And there's a whole study right there. It's a peer-reviewed study. I promise you I'm not lying. I'm not lying. Peer-reviewed study. So, hold on. They got several problems right now, of course. Of course they will. Okay? But yeah, peer-reviewed study. They said that. So, my point to showing you this article is that when you see stuff like this, you're like, okay, y'all are just playing games at this point. Y'all just saying anything. So why should I believe you anymore? Why should I play along with this anymore? Why am I being forced to do this when y'all just saying things that don't make any sense, that make no logical sense? Any person with a brain, half a brain, can see this and be like, all right, this ain't really what I thought. This is not really logical. This is not science. Putting pantyhose on my face, duct tape on my face is not science. Okay, putting gauze on my mouth is not science. So how about I don't buy into it anymore? How about that? They want to kill you. Exactly. They want to kill you. It's like, you got to be able to breathe. They're talking about closing the gap. Well, can I get air in? Because still, I'm a human being still. I still got to be able to breathe air. So how am I going to get air through duct tape and gauze and pantyhose and paper and plastic and everything else? What am I going to do? I mean, come on. Just stop. Just stop. Matter of fact, here's more pictures. Okay, I have more. So they got a whole chart. I told you I'm lying. They got a whole chart. So they got a K95 side and then surgical side. And now they got to have black and brown mannequins, of course, because you got to be progressive with your ridiculous charts. So they got the K95. They have it with tape. There's tape right there. It appears to be Scotch tape. They got the bands tied like right at the connector part. So they got the loop regular, but the band is tied right at the front. So it creates a tighter seal. Pantyhose in the white color, pantyhose in the black color, because again, you got to be progressive and woke. So whatever fits you the best and your skin tone, put that on, because you got to be protected and safe, and at the same time progressive, right? Here's the mummy method, right? So they got the gauze wrapped around the top and the bottom, and gauze right here, they're putting it inside the gaps. So just randomly, okay, like get some gauze and just, stick it in there and all over. Just stick it in the mask, right? Rubber bands, tying it together like that. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on. These people are crazy. There's a whole peer-reviewed study in the chart. So my question to you guys is, are you buying this anymore? Or are you guys buying it? Has it become kind of comedy? It'd be funny if they didn't shut the whole world down, and it'd be funny if we could kind of, get back to normal. But right now, I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of speechless. But anyway, I'll move on. Yeah, so don't put gauze on your face unless you're bleeding. If you're not hemorrhaging, don't do that. Don't do that. That's not the wave, because you still got to be able to get oxygen through the gauze and the tape and the pantyhose and everything else. Hey, test 1, 2, 3. You got to have the tan pantyhose too. Like, remember the egg? Hey, get the egg back with the tan pantyhose, because you might be kind of light skinned, kind of olive skinned or whatever. See, me, I need the black pantyhose because it matches my skin, right? It looks real fashionable. Yeah, let me get the black pantyhose. But if you kind of like middle of the road, a Colin Kaepernick perhaps, he'll wear the tan to match his skin color. That'd be great. Now, as far as that afro, I'm not sure how you get the pantyhose beyond the afro, but they figure it out, because you got to be safe, right? All right. Yeah, I feel you, Zoot Suit. You're a firefighter using N95s. They're uncomfortable and look stupid. Yeah, you got this whole big cone on your face. Remember the lady that had the birthday cone on her face for a mask? I mean, she does not appear to be too far off the mark. Man, if I could find that, I promise I'll show it to you right quick. But yeah, but she had one of those birthday party hats that was like a little cone. She had that right here as a mask. It's the same thing as the N95 mask. It's paper and it's like cone shape. Yes, Cambridge, University of Cambridge. Look it up. Look it up. But anyway, I digress. Thank you guys for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. So if you enjoy what you heard so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get to it. Hey, it's a crazy world we live in, ain't it? It's a really crazy world. A peer-reviewed study. Yo, put panties on your face. That'll work. That'll get it together. If you don't got panties, put some tape, gauze, rubber bands, whatever you got. Okay, super chats on deck, and then I'm going to get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. I'll get to those in a few, so y'all just hang tight. Super chats on deck first, and then we'll go ahead and get moving and grooving. All right, so let's go. What's the day? The 5th. Let's start. Okay, where are we at? Shout out to Apu, of course, for the first one. He says, ABL, I told you my work is going woke. The outside paid anti-racist consultant said Donald Trump is a megalomaniac causing hatred and division in the USA. I like your response. Is this true? Yes or no? Or why or why not? I mean, no, it's not true, because Trump's not even there anymore, number one. And number two, most normies don't really know about politics like that. They don't really know. All they know is when they go into, they know that they've been told that Trump is a bad guy by the mainstream media. if anything, if anybody's causing division, it'd be the mainstream media, pushing this hateful rhetoric about Trump over and over and over again, brainwashing people. That's the problem right there, the mainstream media, not Donald Trump. Ball versus Windshield says, Ottawa City, the city called tow trucks to haul out truckers. The reply from all the tow trucks, due to virus mandates, we are unable to respond. Hilarious. Talk about poetic justice. Thank you to Teresa, who says, ABL, please consider posting your videos on other platforms like Rumble or Getter. You need further reach and freedom to speak as you wish. Also, please be sure to back up your content. I have a BitChute account, actually, so you guys can find me on BitChute. There should be a link in the description box. If it's not, I'll put it there as soon as I'm able to. But yeah, it's right there, BitChute. Right, go to the description box below this video, and if you want to subscribe to that, yeah, go ahead and do it. All the videos I post here are uploaded there automatically. So go to BitChute and check me out right there. It's kind of hard to find me through search, so just go to the link in the description, and you'll be able to go straight to it. But thank you for that. I appreciate you. Thank you to Apple again, who says, ABL fans, please respond in chat. Is USA hateful? That's a good question. Is USA hateful? If you were to ask me, I would say, no, the USA is not hateful. I say you have some random people who are kind of brainwashed by the internets and mainstream media to get weird, but I don't believe we are a hateful place. Now, it could be dangerous depending upon where you live and depending upon what the DAs and leaders of the area do. If you have no cash bail and there's no prosecution for larceny, going into a store and stealing, if that's going on, it could be very dangerous. Thank you to Caius, who says, Mayor Adams, Biden, all Democrats use racial slurs all the time. Thank you to Josh Foss, who says, what's up, ABL? I saw J.A. Adande on ESPN analyst just said live on there that he can't judge China for its genocide because American red states have voter ID laws. Wow. Wait a minute. So J.A. Adande said that killing people, putting them in the camps like World War II Germany is the equivalent to voter ID. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. What in the world? I mean, you know what? I mean, it's obvious that at a certain point, these people are bought and paid for by China. It's clear. It's clear. I mean, that was nuts. That's a Chinese bot response from a guy on air on ESPN. That's nuts. Thank you to Teresa, who says, if American truckers want to be heard, they don't need to come to D.C. All they need to do is park right where they are. 7 days of that would get your attention. Oh, yeah. 7 days without truckers being able to get on the road and get goods from point A to point B, man, it'd be pandemonium. I say 3 days. 3 days of that, it'd be a wrap. Remember the whole thing with toilet paper and gas? Think about that times infinity. Infinity. Because remember, during the whole gas, quote unquote, crisis, there was no shortage. There was no shortage. It was a run on the gas stations because people were scared that there could be a shortage, but it wasn't actually a shortage. Not really. You were seeing people do the dumbest things. They were putting gas in trash bags on the ground, like not even in the bed of their truck, which is bad enough. On the ground. It's like, ma'am, how are you going to carry gasoline in a bag? This is not, you're not going shopping. You're not going to Walmart picking up items. This ain't, what are you going to do with that gas in the bag, in a plastic trash bag? What are you thinking about? All the gas went straight on the ground, of course, because you can't carry liquid in a plastic bag like that. That's not how that works. But I'll move on. Let me see. Shout out to Apple again, who says, God bless J6, MAGA, Patriots, and DC jail solitary. Josh Foss says a Penn trans swimmer went from number 462 ranked man to number 1 ranked woman swimmer. That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, it's Joanna Man. Here we are. Like, I've done videos about this, talking about how we're getting closer to Joanna Man. You know the plot. Joanna Man, he was in the NBA, got kicked out, everything fell apart, so he couldn't play the NBA anymore. He's like, okay, I'm going to go over with the women and I'm going to dominate. That's what he did. It was a love story, too. It was weird. But anyway, we are in Joanna Man right now, 2022. And Juwanna Mann came true. Idiocracy came true. What other films that you thought would never happen, just pure fantasy, have come to fruition right now in 2022 USA? Like I said, Juwanna Mann, that's real. We're here. Where the men cannot go with the men. They can't compete with the men. They get kicked out. They perform poorly. So they go crush the women. And Idiocracy, people talking about, hey, how do you water crops? With water? No, you got to put Bronto on it. It's what plants crave. That's electrolytes. We're here. We're there already. Okay. But anyway, we'll move on. 1984. Yep, 1984. That happened. 100%. We're here in 1984. Weekend at Bernie's. Yep, that's a good way in KM. Escape from LA and escape from. I'm right there. That's right on point. People are escaping from New York and LA right now. Minority Report. Yes, that's also 100%. The pre-crime thing. Lord of the Flies. Running Man. Definitely 100%. But I move on. Apple says, please consider Patriot Freedom Project to help. Deep State NSA federales reveal location of Trudeau. Federales repent your treason sins. Reveal January 6th truth. Ray Epps to go on Joe Rogan and reveal the truth about January 6th. Oh, you want him to go on Joe Rogan? I'm about to say, is he going to go on Joe Rogan? If he did go on Joe, that'd be great. Tell the truth. Thank you to Boomhauer, who says, do you really feel like this Black History Month is really on your side as a black man? It seems like the left is using this month to kick overdrive in. I don't pay Black History Month any attention. I don't pay no attention because all it is a way for them to sell products. It's not, I mean, because I don't just study history. First of all, let's back up. Black History Month. Let's talk about it right quick. I don't just study Black history. I study history of America and the world. I study world history, including Black folks, America, wherever. So I don't look at history as just being, I don't look at just Black history. I look at history, number one. Number two, as far as a month, it's just corporations trying to push products. They're putting kente cloth in the Twitter avatars. It's just kind of gross. It reminds me of Juneteenth. Now, when I was a kid, if you guys don't know, I always celebrated Juneteenth because that was my dad's birthday and also my uncle, his uncle's birthday. So that my uncle, that was Granny's brother. So my dad's uncle and my dad had the same birthday, June 19th. So every year throughout my entire life, I go to DC and celebrate Juneteenth with my dad and my uncle, my other uncles, my family members, everybody. We'll be up to like a little family reunion / Juneteenth / cookout. That's what it normally is for most Black folks to celebrate it. It's like a cookout, like a little get together, basically. So then when I saw them talk about Juneteenth and how we've always known about it, which is a lie, because when I was a kid, that was an obscure holiday, very obscure holiday. More obscure than Kwanzaa. Very obscure. We knew about it because I always was taught about it by my dad because it was his birthday and my uncle's birthday. So I knew about it. And it was never a thing like spoken about on television. But then when Trump said something about it, then they want to say, oh, we all knew about Juneteenth. How you didn't know all this, that, and the third. Then they want to commercialize it. I hated that. I was like, man, y'all done ruined it now. It's like if you have a good place you go to, right, for food and drink, and then the word gets out, and then the whole town, when they come in, they ruin it. That's what I feel like they've done to Black history and Juneteenth and other things as well. I hate it. So long story less long, I don't celebrate Black history. I celebrate history, period, including Black, white, everybody. American history and world history. You see what I'm saying? Which is why I see certain things happening here and I'm getting nervous. I'm thinking about World War II. I'm thinking about Weimar. I'm thinking about that type of, you see where I'm going? You got to be able to understand history, period, to not repeat it and to also good things from it. Things that worked, things that made sense, that always make sense because it made sense for a long time. ways of, culture and religion and relationships. But I'm going real deep, so I digress. So let's get to the next one here. Thank you to Darius for the cool guy emoji. Thank you to Apple again, who says, ABL, what's your favorite season? What do you do in it? I like the summertime. I like the warm weather. Not too hot, but I like warm weather. Okay, I'll put it to you like this. I like the summertime on the east. You see what I'm saying? Now, if I go to like Arizona, Vegas, somewhere like that, not Vegas, but if I go to Arizona, somewhere like that, or El Paso, Texas, I like to go there like in the fall, like early to late fall, when it's kind of chilly in the east, but it's still warm over there, like 75, 80 and sunny. That's great in that particular time. So as long as it's warm, not too hot, I'm cool. I'm not a fan of cold weather. So I could not do New York City or Chicago, nothing like that. Lake effect snow and that wind, I'm cool. I'm cool on that. Count me out. Hey, man, like, I'm from Virginia, like the Virginia Beach area. This right here is what I wear half of the year. No socks, just straight flip-flops. I drive a whole truck with these, whatever that's what I wear. You can't really wear that too much in New York City. Just outside, like, it's all good. Thank you to Violet, who says everything's racist nowadays. That's correct. Everything's racist. Also, what's my favorite bird? I like owls and buzzards. I like the eagle. Give me the bald eagle. That's what I like. I'm gonna go outside one day and go like that and have one land on me. I might get kind of cut up from the talons, but I'll be all right. I'll survive. It's worth it to have an eagle land on you, right? Hold on. Let me get back here. Doris Loves America says, your mama started many fights where I'm from, Metro Detroit. Yeah, speaking about fighting words and stuff like that, absolutely, 100%. Apple also says, why is cracker a bad word for white folk? I like crackers. In Canada, in prison, goof is the worst name because it means a child predator. Same in USA. I've never heard of the word goof be used that way. I would hear about goof meaning like goofy, like you're just a silly person. I've never heard about it being used that way. But the term cracker, I guess where it came from as far as a racial slur sense is, I think I'm right, but if I'm wrong, y'all let me know. But it comes from slavery where the slave master would crack the whip and make you do things. You see what I'm saying? So that person was called cracker, cracking the whip. That's what I heard. Maybe I'm wrong. But personally, that's not really a slur that people use. Normally people would say white boy or something like that. They don't say cracker. That you say something like that when you're trying to offend somebody with racial slurs, or you try to counteract the racial slur used against you. But that's not really a thing that gets used like that. Black folks use the N-word among themselves more than the word cracker to anybody. Matter of fact, you say the word cracker talking about soups and salads and, food more than a racial slur. That's the reality of the situation. It's dumb, personally. So let me go to Ian. Ian says, how do you feel about Pelosi's warning to American Olympians over China not to speak about the CCP or against them? How about NBC pro-CCP propaganda at the Open? Now, what Pelosi said was right. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be right. I blame China for that being right. What she said was right. So I think if anybody has an issue with that, they probably shouldn't have gone to the Olympics. And, of course, they're going to be pro-CCP on NBC. I think the opening ceremony is going to be pro-CCP. They had the Uyghur minority go out there as part of the opening ceremony. Of course they will, because they want to – China's all about face. If you go to China, know anything about China, it's all about face, how you look, how you present. That's all it's about. So, yeah, they're going to do something like that to try and save face. That's China in a nutshell. So all of what you see is China. One thing about China, they're not very, they're pretty transparent. They're not They're trying to hide, but they're not hiding. They're hiding in plain sight. It's like if you have Shaq hiding behind a tree. Oh, you can't see me. I'm behind a tree. If you got him hiding behind, like, I can see you, Shaq. You're 7 foot tall and 300 pounds plus. I can see you behind a tree. You're not hiding. But that's China in a nutshell. All right. What else? Raymond says, ABL, when I'm home on Saturday, you're my go-to watch. Hey, man, thank you for that. I appreciate you. Apple also says, ABL, peanut butter or Nutella. Nutella is gross. I don't like Nutella at all. Peanut butter all day. My favorite jam, strawberry preserves. Yeah, I'm fancy like that. Strawberry preserves. That's my wave. And the peanut butter, it gotta be crunchy peanut butter. I don't want no Jif or nothing like that. No smooth Peter Pan, none of that. It's gotta be crunchy peanut butter with full peanuts in it and some strawberry preserves, and we good money. Anything else is uncivilized. Hold on. Josh says, hey, ABL, why would Biden's Secretary of State release $29 billion to Iran's civilian nuclear program? I'm not sure we're going to make it to 2024. This administration has been one screw up after another. I'm not sure why they did that. I have no reason to. I have no idea what's going on with that. Thank you to Matt H, who says, what kind of sea cow does ABL not like? Profanity. Oh, hold on. Did we got the... Nah. There you go. There you go, sir. Thank you to Caius, who says, what's your take on Q people and the plan? I never followed it. I don't even know too much about it. That's not really my wave. I don't know nothing about that, really. So, I don't know. I don't really deal with stuff like that. I deal with what I can see, what's right in front of my face for the most part, and what makes sense. Anything beyond that, I don't really know about. Let me see. Thank you to Mauricio, who says Trump is Batman. He once said it himself. Well, there you go. Thank you to Noah Garcia, who says, shout out to my coworker Joe. He subscribed to the channel tonight. He's old, so he's probably asleep now. Trying to help you crack 1 million ABL. Hey, that's the goal right there. Thank you for your super chat. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to Joe as well. Hopefully Joe's watching. You know, if you are, I appreciate you, boss. Thank you to Apple, who says Janaya Khan, spouse of Patrice Cullors, used BLM funds to purchase $10 million home in Toronto, Canada, used for Communist Party, used to be prominent Communist Party headquarters in Canada. Yep, I saw that. I did see that. So what's BLM stand for? Buy large mansions, big long money. Like, what's going on? Senator Chuck Schumer said U.S. Supreme Court was all white since 1981, except that he forgot Thurgood Marshall was named to the Supreme Court in 1967. Democrats, exactly. Thank you to Bugs Bunny, who said Apple brought the CCP $260 billion to sell iPhones in China 2 years ago. It worked. Apple cares about privacy like Google does, which is not at all, right? Thank you to a boy who says, speaking truth, or boy Kachina, speaking truth, China wrote a virus fentanyl while taking those jobs. Nothing goes better than it kind of got cut off. Thank you for your super chat. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Raymond, who says the wrong but actually right all along awards. The anti-view says N95 instructions from 3M. Quote, the respirator cannot stop the breathing in of all particles in the air and does not eliminate the risk of symptoms or sickness. In other words, it doesn't work to stop the bug. So what's the point in wearing it? It looks silly. Had this big cone on your face. That's pretty much it. All right. Thank you to Everett, who says the bung was made the Super Bowl. Are you wearing orange? Also, Brian Flores chose 2 white lawyers to represent him. Funny how that works. That's what I'm saying. Like, I was making that point in my video. I got kickback. I'm like, wait a minute. If Brian Flores is talking about racist hiring practices and not giving black head coaches a chance, well, why do you have these 2 white lawyers? How about you give 2 black lawyers a chance? I don't understand. Maybe you found the best guys to represent you the same way they got the best guys to coach the team. How was it different? It's weird. Thank you to Aaron Bethay, who says, remember the precautions we're supposed to take during the anthrax scare in 01 to 03. These mask mods are the same thing. We're talking about Newsom is back to business. Thank you to Apple, who says ABL, black pantyhose, fishnet. We're not getting into that. As far as what you put on your face, we're not doing that though. Thank you to S4, who says AB, have me rolling and laughing tonight. I'm glad I do have you rolling and laughing tonight. Thank you to Theodore, who says Ross wishes the Vikings hired Jim Harbaugh. The anti-view says thoughts on China and Russia announcing a partnership. That's been going on. That ain't nothing new. And Iran as well. They are all together. They're forming an alliance. And that's not unheard of. I mean, why wouldn't they? They have a common, I guess you would say, adversary. We're being adversarial against Russia, trying to empower Ukraine, trying to put sanctions on Vladimir Putin, trying to talk tough against China, all this, that, and the third. So they say, you know what? Okay, we're going to be besties. We're going to be pals. We're going to get this money together. And the U.S., man, they do whatever they want to do, but we're going to be in it together. So if you want to try to be funny in the South China Sea, or you want to be funny with Ukraine, they're going to be in it together. So wherever Russia goes, China will go. All right, you want to try to take over, you want to try to stop us from taking over Ukraine? All right, Xi, check it out. Bring your guys down from China and put them right here. And they'll be there in the blink of an eye. They'll be there. Matter of fact, talking about Syria right quick, just for a moment. In Syria, remember the whole thing with Syria? We were there for a while and we had to leave, or whatever the case may be. China and Russia were there with us. They were there. So this ain't nothing new. It's just become formalized in public now, but they've been doing that for a long time as far as having a relationship between China and Russia. Hold on, let me go back to the other one here. Thank you to Aaron Bethay, who says Enrique Tarrio on Tim Pool's show said he spent 5 months in a DC gulag. It was an actual re-education camp. 1984 is being used as manual. Wow, that's crazy. Totally crazy. Thank you to S. Austin for becoming a member. Thank you to Unifier TV for becoming a member as well. Again, thank you to Bob K. MIT, who says your favorite bird. Come on, man. You know it's chicken. Thank you to Joe M, who says, ABO, when was your ultimate red pill moment? Black conservatives will save the USA in the end. That's a long story, but long story short, I say like 2012, 2011, when I realized that Barack Obama was not doing a good job and the economy was kind of tanking. That's probably when I really saw it back then. But the specific moment is kind of a long story. I got a video about that, but that's really when I saw it. The economy's not doing good. Hope and change didn't come to fruition. I was like, nope, let's do something else. And thank you to Rick E for your donation as well. Appreciate you. And let's get to some calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. I said Syria, not cereal. But we were in Syria, and we were trying to leave Syria, I suppose. It might have been a strike that we did. It was kind of confusing. When we were there, China was there, Russia was there. I think France was, like, everybody was there with us because everybody wants to be the top dog. Everybody wants to be the power in the world. China wants to be the power. Russia wants to be the power. The U.S., same thing. So a lot of these interventions and whatnot in foreign nations are not necessarily about that nation. It's about trying to maintain dominance as a world power. That's all. You know, if we were to fight Russia, it wouldn't be in Russia. It'd be in Ukraine or somewhere like that. Belarus, something. Not Belarus, because that's pretty much a Russia satellite state. But it'd be in Ukraine. So hopefully we don't get into some kind of conflict over in Eastern, quote unquote, what they saying, Eastern Europe. That's code for Ukraine. But I'll move on. The number to call, 434-658-1220. If Skype's not acting right, it's not my fault. Please blame the white man. There's also an email in the description box, so you can get on Skype and be right there in the bottom left-hand corner talking about whatever's going on that's kind of related politically. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right. Proxy war is that's exactly what it is. 860, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Bill. How you doing, brother? It's F&A Ranger Xbox.
All right, man. What's happening?
Before I say anything about what's going on, I just want to say that me and my kids are starting to get the age where they can watch more adult style movies, not, bad ones or any foul language or anything, but like Battlefield Los Angeles. And we were watching that the other day, and the black Marine that was shopping for wedding flowers and stuff with his buddy and the girls, he looks exactly like your twin. Oh, maybe it was the glasses, but you got to check out the movie. It's a good movie, but yeah, he looks like your twin.
So what
just thought I'd throw that out there.
So what is it called again?
Battlefield Los Angeles. It's politically incorrect to kill people, so they're killing aliens that invaded the Earth. But it's a good movie.
Oh, okay.
It really is. It'll make a Marine cry. I know that for a fact.
Right.
Or at least have a bad case of allergies. Let's say allergies. But I never in a million years thought I would ever agree with anything Nancy Pelosi said. But when she told the Olympians to shut up in China, that's some of the best advice she could ever give.
Oh,
Having been there 4 times, shut up. I got mad because we just go through there to transfer planes, and there was supposed to be like a 2-hour layover. No, it was a 26-hour layover. The airplane's sitting there at the gate. Ain't nothing moving. They don't tell you nothing. You go to the information desk and you say, hey, our airplane's supposed to be loading. What's going on? No, you dumb. You don't know how to order book tickets. Really? I'm 60 years old. I've been doing this for like 40 years. I've never had this problem before. Come to find out later on. You can only push an argument so far in China. When they shut down, you shut up, period.
Right.
Or you are going to go away for state accommodations, and it's not going to be pleasant. It damn sure won't be 5-star.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all.
But that is the type of government that the Democrats and rhinos want for here.
Oh, yeah.
Literally.
Because there's no
China
opposition.
Uncensored. Go ahead. Yep.
Because that's
what they want.
There's no opposition.
Right. If they want to put a highway through your neighborhood, hey, hope you're out of the house before the bulldozer gets there.
Right.
That's their attitude. If you're charged with a minor crime or just accused of it, and your blood matches a political high-ranking official that needs organs, now you're an involuntary organ donor. And it's not just the Uyghurs, it's the Tibetans. They're exterminating the Cantonese language, Mongolia, Tibet. It's not just the Uyghurs, even though the Uyghurs are suffering the most. I mean, sex slavery, prostitution is big. That's one of their big things, business deal. Go out, get drunk, and go to whorehouses. Excuse my language, but I don't know what else to call it. But that's just how they operate. They are a criminal gang in charge of a country. There's no other way to say it. Nancy Pelosi she's a mafia princess. Her daddy and friend used to run Baltimore. Well, once they run Baltimore underground and it got too hot, they moved out to California. Now look what's happened to California. That's all I got for you tonight, brother. Love your show. God bless America. Let's take this country back.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
You take care, buddy. Love you.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. Let's get to some more calls here. The number to call is 434-658-1220. And let's go ahead and get cracking. Let's go to 717 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, it's Moses. How you doing tonight?
It's all good, man. About yourself?
It's all good. It's all good, man. So I know everybody's kind of devastated that Joe Rogan proved himself to be a beta, but we got to look on the bright side. We got one, Jeff Zucker. I was very surprised at that at first, but I was like, you know what? This had to come, because there was rumors that somebody in CNN was going to go, but they don't know who.
Yeah, I mean, The whole thing is I'm not surprised anymore with these people, but the Jeff Zuckers and whatnot, when they do stuff like this, it's like I kind of expect it, especially when they preach against others or lead those that want to attack others, like on the left, especially. I kind of expect it at this point. Same thing with Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo, all of them.
Yeah, and you had mentioned that, people are calling for Brian Seltzer to be fired. Let's just say Brian Seltzer does get fired. Who would be the next to go after him? Because you got Jake Tapper, you got Jim Acosta, which don't even get me started on him. Who else is there? I don't even know. I don't even watch CNN. Does anyone else watch CNN? Because I don't watch them.
I can't say I do. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I wonder who would be next to go. But I read this article that was interesting. But we already know that CNN was colluding with the Democrats. But this article was sort of like the red flag being shown, where it said that the January 6th law committees were devastated about Jeff Zucker stepping down, which I found very interesting. They said, "Oh, it's devastating to our democracy," and I just saw that. I was like, that word. Every time they say it's a threat to our democracy, I just want to just punch something. It's like, come on. It's not. If anything, the Democrats are the threat to our democracy, and CNN colluding with the Democrats is a threat to our democracy. I mean, we've been knowing that, but people want to say, oh, that's a conspiracy theorist. You got your tinfoil hat on. But at the end of the day, that article just put it out there. I just, sometimes I wonder with these people.
It's kind of confusing. It's weird, but at a certain point, it all makes sense. What they do, it doesn't make sense, but that becomes expected.
Yeah, and it does make a lot of sense because honestly, they're looking out for their own self-interest. This is what the left does. The left is all about looking out for their own self-interest. And supposedly, Jim Acosta, I think Jake Tapper are really paranoid, and they feel as if they're walking on eggshells because the Discovery owner does not like the way that CNN is going, being too left-leaning. He wants it to be centrist. So they're probably not going to be able to push their agenda. Now, my question is, with all this happening before the midterms, do you see this having an effect on the Democratic Party and their propaganda? Because they need CNN. CNN is what they depended on to get Trump out of there. Now that they don't have this weapon, what are they going to do? They haven't even started fundraising their campaign for the midterms yet, which I found interesting too.
Well, I think they know in midterm time it's going to be a wrap. They're not really going to be able to do too much in the midterms because of the damage already been done by Joe Biden and by them and by this whole virus thing and how they pretty much failed in their policy. So they know that they don't have too much. They're going to try to keep putting out propaganda through the mainstream media, but as far as being able to win and succeed, midterms is going to be a tough one. That's why they're all retiring and resigning and not running again because they already see it coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't think if CNN goes in a different direction, I don't think they're going to have an advantage at all. I mean, they would have MSNBC, but no one's watching that. No one's watching CBS. And heck, I'll go as far as not a lot of people are watching Fox. They're watching alternative media. They're watching people such as yourself, Joe Rogan, which, I know a lot of people disagree with him apologizing, but I'll still watch him too if he doesn't give in too much. Then you got Tim Pool, Officer Tatum, Jericho Green. So we just got to keep an eye on the alternative media. But that's all I'm going to say for tonight. I do appreciate you taking my call, and have a great night, ABL.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Bye-bye.
All right, let's go to the next call. The number to call, 434. The rest is always in the description box below, and also in the ticker at a certain point in time, it'll be right there. Let's go to 515. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Lori.
All righty.
And I'm calling from Des Moines, Iowa.
All righty.
I wanted I wanted to get your thoughts. Well, I guess I wanted to share my thoughts on Black History Month. I was in high school 50 years ago, and
Hello? Hello? Okay, probably lost her. I'm not sure what happened. But shout out to the caller. If you lost her, if it was my phone, I don't know what happened. But hopefully she's able to, you know what I mean, get it back on track. Let's go to the next one. 918, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is JB Scotchman out of Oklahoma. What's up, man?
Ain't too much, man. What's happening?
I don't know, a lot of different topics tonight, that's for sure, throughout the whole week. But, I don't know, I was just thinking of something earlier. Whatever happened to the Christmas parade massacre in Wisconsin, just over a month ago, when a dude drove the SUV through a parade, killing, little children? You don't hear about that anymore. That just kind of was just a 2-3 day story, and then they just kind of forgot about it.
Yeah, it pretty much vanished because that goes against their narrative. They wouldn't push a story about dangerous white Trump supporter or something like that. They want to talk about that, but they don't want to talk about anything else because they don't want to be seen as racist, and they have a certain narrative to push, and that's not it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're so divisive. That's all you can say. Mainstream media is literally trying to divide the country by race, and it's getting old. It's getting sick. I think people are finally getting fed up with it. It's the only really mainstream news I do watch. I do like Greg Gutfeld on Fox. I think he's got a pretty funny show. And I like that he's like now number one in late night, beating out Colbert and all those jokers, so I think he's really the only one that's kind of left that reports good stuff, but I don't know. Yeah. And the Olympics, yeah, I normally like the Olympics, but I just can't get excited for them this year. The country that released the virus on the entire world now wants the entire world to come over to their country and play games.
Right.
That's
Crazy.
so ironic, So, I just can't get excited about it this year, And I don't know. And what Nancy said, she is right, but it's not right in another way. It's not right, that our athletes have to have that kind of behavior, because the Olympics are about bringing the world together, and what's happening in China, they're not about it, just, look at that reporter that they hauled away, so. But I don't know. I ain't got much else to say tonight. So, good show, good topics.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it.
All right, later, dude.
I know. All right, shout out to the caller. Now, here's a picture that kind of sums up a lot of what we talk about with this mad stuff and how it's ridiculous. So, look at what's going on here. Now, I don't need to say much, but you already can tell what's happening. And for those who can't see, if you listen to the audio only, what you have is Stacey Abrams, and she's sitting on the floor in front, like she's in the picture where she's front center on the floor, and she appears to be like in the kids' classroom. These are like little kids, probably maybe about 6, 7 years old, something like that. They all have on masks. All the kids have on masks, and she doesn't. All the staff in the back have on masks, and she doesn't. So what I'm seeing here is a lot. Do as I say, never as I do. Double standards. I'm the politician. You're the peon. You do what I tell you, but I do whatever I want. That's what I'm seeing right there. So when you see stuff like this, if you're just a regular person, not even political, you're like, well, why is she not wearing the mask, but everyone else has to wear a mask? Did you guys see when Eric Garcetti said that he takes masks? He takes his mask off, take pictures while he's holding his breath. It's like, sir, really, you holding your breath for a picture? Is that what you're talking about? So you do think that she's holding her breath in this picture? Like, come on. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, what are we? Come on. Like, let's just stop the nonsense. What I say? Stop the cap. Stop the lies, please. All right, let's get to the next one here. And y'all, please hang tight. 315 if online. Who am I speaking to?
Yes, this is Lisa from upstate New York.
All right, turn the screen down for me in the background, please.
Sure. I'm calling because I just wanted to know what your thoughts were on the fact that a lot of these companies are going woke. And according to what my husband and I watched last night on Glenn Beck's new book, The Great Reset, they're doing it so that they apparently are going to be doing a social credit score if they can get their plan to go through. And he says that the companies are going to be are already trying to get their social credit score up before that even comes out.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, that's already kind of here. Because if you, for example, if you ride in the Uber, after the ride is over, you can rate them 5 stars, give them a tip. And when you see if you ever bought an Uber or a Lyft or whatever, before they come to your destination, you see what they're ranked already. And if the person has a low rank consistently, they can get fired from the program. Same thing with anything else. If you go to a hotel, you want to see what the rankings are, and you want to read the reviews and all that kind of stuff. You go on Amazon, it's the same thing. So companies, they're already being ranked. They're already being judged by people. And as you can see it, you can see the results, and you want the information. You want to be able to know what you're getting into, what you're spending your money on. So it's only a matter of time before people have the same thing applied to them. If you are some kind of like a 1099 type of employee, where you're like a gig worker or a subcontractor, you're already right there. If you're an Uber driver, you're being ranked. If you do any kind of contracting with home improvement, you'd probably be on one of these websites where they rank people like that. So it's already here. It's just a matter of expanding it. That's all.
Right. Yeah. Well, he also had mentioned, excuse me. He also had mentioned that they had used the term at the World Economic Forum, Build Back Better, and he showed quite a few different countries using that term. And I was wondering what your thoughts were on the fact that Joe Biden uses that term.
Well, I'm not really sure why they're using it. I don't really know a lot about that specifically. Maybe it's because there's some type of plan they all have together, or maybe it's because they just want to copy what he's doing because Americans are doing it. I'm not really sure what the importance of that is, but there could be something behind it.
Right. Well, and then as far as like up here in my state, I mean, we're kind of different than New York City in upstate New York, and they came out with the governor that replaced our governor we had, Governor Cuomo. They came out and said that she didn't even have jurisdiction to do what she was doing because there was no law that was out there, and most of us didn't know that. And I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on how long do you think that they're going to be able to keep this mask mandate in place when there was no law there in the beginning?
Well, I don't really know. I think just as long as people tolerate it, if people don't want to do it anymore and everyone stops doing it, they can't really do much to stop that from happening. You can't arrest everybody that's not wearing a mask. And what law are they breaking? I mean, they already have the whole the no bail thing where you can pretty much get out if you are an attempted murderer or something like that. So I'm not sure how they're really going to enforce mask mandates when nobody is complying.
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I thank you for taking the call, and we watch you all the time and appreciate what you do.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. And thank you all for being here. Definitely appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed what you're hearing so far tonight, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. All right, Tariq, what's going on?
Hey, bro, man, we got to talk about Joe Rogan, bro, because this right here is censorship. And, you know, what's insane is you got to think about this, man. Joe Rogan is one of the #1 watched podcasts in the United States.
In the world.
And think about, in the world. But look at what liberals are doing to censor. You see, this is what they do. They know that they can't get to Joe Rogan directly. So what do? They go to his boss, Spotify, and they attack Spotify as if Spotify endorses everything that Joe Rogan says. You know, if we're going to go by that nature, then all the loony and crazy stuff that goes on all the social media networks, all the crazy stuff that goes on YouTube, where you see a lot of this dysfunction, especially in the black community, that they don't end up censoring, is sanctioned and sponsored by YouTube, because that's what these liberals are doing. And so what they're doing is they send these low-grade celebrities that nobody listens to first protest. But then there's a monkey see, monkey do within the liberal celebrity, because once one celebrity starts, then another celebrity starts, then another celebrity starts. And these people are so fake, man. What is interesting to me is this, especially with India Arie, because I got to get to her. I'm sorry. She's a clown, man. But these people think that they're fighting a power structure. These people think that they are going against the grain. What these idiots don't understand is the power structure is a structure that attempts to silence you, that stops you from thinking. In America right now, we are developing a culture that is stopping people from asking questions, stopping people from thinking freely. They are forcing an opinion in our mind, and if we say something, they either silence us or economically devastate us. Because I'm gonna call it jab. If everything in the jab was so true, then allow debate it. If somebody is saying falsehoods about the poke or the jab, debate it. But when you got to censor somebody, that means you don't have an answer to it. And now I'm gonna get to this clown India Arie. India Arie is attempting to use the whole black victimhood, the whole black guilt into this. Because I don't know, did you see that video of her posting Joe Rogan saying the N-word?
Yeah.
She's assuming black people are stupid with that video, because she puts no context whatsoever. She just clips out N-word. That's like John Adams, give me liberty or give me death speech, and we just clip out give me death, and we paint him as a suicidal maniac or something. That's what she did with Joe Rogan. The only thing that Joe Rogan may have done was that ape joke, but that was 11 years ago, and I don't think he was being racist. That was a joke. I'll bait a spicy joke. It was a joke, but to then say he's a racist and this is why I'm pulling out, she's a lie. She's a lie. She's just monkey see, monkey do. Whatever the white liberal do, I'm going to throw my blackness in it. But guess what? I'm going to upgrade it, and I'm going to get all of the black community involved, because I'm going to bring race into it. So now the African Americans can get upset, and now all the black artists can pull out. They're all clowns. Like, I'm telling you, bro, our community, we talk all this nonsense about white supremacy, but we sit back and wait for the white man to make their move first, and then we follow. And then to give that liberal white man credence, we put our race behind it to give it more oomph on it. Like this, like I said, we got this is 2022 house Negroes. That's all that is, bro. And that's pretty much all I gotta say, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it.
I take care.
Very good call. I mean, I can't say it no better myself. That was perfectly said, 100%. And you guys are the best audience in the world. Go ahead and get a video. a thumbs up if you have not done so already. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. That'll help me out tremendously. We're trying to get to 1 million this year. We'll see if we could do it. All right. All right, Scott Caller, what's going on?
Hey, Bill, what's going on, brother?
Ain't too much.
Hey, man. Man. Where to start? Thank you for taking my call, brother. Hey, why are people worrying about Russia? Why are they confusing Americans to be worrying about Russia while China is literally taking over everything, not just in America, but the entire world? China is everywhere, man. And I travel a lot. China is in Jamaica, Guyana, Africa, France. And what's crazy about this stuff is that when you go to there's a Chinese, I remember when I went to Guyana and there was a Chinese restaurant all over the place, actually, in Guyana. And I was expecting when I go into the restaurant that I would see Guyanese people. But what I saw was Chinese people in Guyana right there speaking Chinese with Chinese letters on the restaurant. But everyone is worrying about Russia. I find that
it's crazy, but it's all about the media. This is what I'm saying. The media, they'll tell people what to believe in. Like if the media keeps saying Russia, 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 people will be worried about Russia. They say, oh man, we gotta fight Ukraine, and they're taking over everything. And like I was at a dinner with like random normies, right? Random people, random normies, nobody that's really politically inclined. And there was an older black lady talking about Russia stole the election. It's like, see, like that right there came straight from the TV, directly from the TV. I could tell she's not going to be going and doing any kind of research or figuring out what's going on. She's taking straight from CNN, whatever they say. So if they don't talk about China and how they're a threat, how they're pretty much all over the place, colonizing the whole world without colonizing it directly, they won't care about it. They won't know about it. It's just ignorance, unfortunately, and it's done on purpose.
Yeah, and the Chinese people, they're literally so rich. They're very filthy. I mean, not filthy. Well, like filthy rich, not filthy as in dirty.
Well,
but they give these countries like Africa, for example, this continent and these countries in Africa, they give them this small amount of money. And, the small amount of money that they give, like a couple million or so forth, that is nothing to them. And they pretty much own so many things in Africa right now. And the African government is just literally just bending their knees and just taking it. And the African people are suffering so much. And they're actually forcing, sending a lot of these so-called COVID vaccines over there and so forth. And it's crazy how they own everything. And we just everyone is in America, just ignore that guy over there, even though he owns everything. Just don't focus on him. Focus on the police brutality, And I don't know what is wrong with people. Why aren't people seeing this stuff, man? And they're censoring so many Americans, and Americans need to take this very seriously. And this is a prophecy right now. I personally believe that they will try to ban the religion that actually held America together, and that's Christianity. I personally believe that they will go and try to ban the Bible. And a lot of people might say, "Wait, you're talking crazy right now. Ban the Bible." But in a lot of certain countries so far, they already have the Bible banned. They already have the Bible in a lot of countries now, and I think it's coming to America because they can use that the Bible contains misogynist, or the Bible contains hatred speech against homosexuality. So, I believe that can actually happen. But anyways, ABL, that's all I want to talk about. Stop focusing on Russia, guys. Focus on China. All right. Thank you, ABL. Bye.
I know. Great call. What he said was right on point. China, they're everywhere. They are everywhere. I mean, they're here. They bought Smithfield Foods in Virginia. The pork plant, they bought Smithfield. China owns Smithfield Foods. They own plenty of land here. They own a bunch of our debt. they produce everything you buy. Go to an Apple store, everything's made in China or somewhere in Asia, but typically China. Everything. There's no cell phones made in America. Not one. None. Zero. I don't care if you got Apple, Android, whatever. Nothing is made in America. So it's just, I don't know. People worried about Russia is because the media are making you be worried about Russia. Russia, we don't have any real, there's nothing. I mean, you're not seeing a bunch of made in Russia products on the store shelves like in the Walmart. You're not seeing that at all. All right, let me get to the next one here. Let's go. 972 doing line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, how we doing, Mr. ABL? This is Unifier T. This is Daryl here.
All right, man. What's going on?
Not much, man. Haven't called in a while. But of course I've been enjoying the show like always. So quick question here. I was watching an Instagram live earlier, and someone mentioned something. And it wasn't a completely different angle than what I was looking at the Whoopi Goldberg thing at, but it was something I don't think has been said enough. But no, how do you feel about this? The person on this live said that conservatives don't need to celebrate Whoopi getting suspended because that means that if they're so willing to do it to the left, then that still leaves it's still open season on people on the right. So while we're over here cheering and woohooing and rah-rah because she got suspended, we didn't like it when it happened to us. So we can't celebrate when it happens to the left because it's still going to happen to us just as much as them because it's not like they're, at this point, being biased. They're getting everybody. So the point this guy was making was don't celebrate that. It's still censorship no matter what side you're on. So how do you feel about that?
Well, I see what he's trying to say, but he's missing the point. The point is that these people are being held to their own standards, and it's not us that did the canceling. It was them that did the canceling. So somebody like Whoopi Goldberg would typically be celebrating if we were to get canceled for saying something that she sees as racist or something like that. But what she doesn't understand is the same thing will happen to her. Now, we're not saying that we want to have censorship or we welcome censorship, but if you're going to censor us, then it's got to be the same way for you. And then maybe if people get censored when they thought they probably wouldn't, when they thought they were immune, maybe it'll cause them to wake up because she threatened to quit. Now, if she quits, what's she going to do? Like, what's going to be the next thing? Just like with Shaq, right? Shaq was talking about Kyrie Irving and how he put hands and feet on him. He beat him up. That's what he said as far as him not getting the vax if he was his teammate because he's holding the team back. But now he's saying that you shouldn't be forced to get the vax. I wonder what happened. Is it because after he said that, now we starting to see what's going on? Now we starting to realize. So it's good for them to get to taste their own medicine to realize that it's not just going to be a one-way thing. It's going to be a two-way thing. So maybe at a certain point, we'll be able to get on the same page and be against censorship in general. But they got to feel it first. It can't just be this one-sided thing that only affects us and doesn't affect them. It's got to be both. It's got to be two-sided.
Yeah, and I completely feel the same way. I think that it was that plus this plus that because she's been on the roll lately with her rhetoric. She's been on the roll just saying stuff that doesn't make sense. The whole show really, but for her in particular, I don't think it was just this one incident that made them say, okay, we got to suspend her. I think it's just been a collection of things. She's constantly running her mouth without knowing what's going on and what she's saying. So I think it was everything. But as far as the Shaq thing, I don't know if that's controlled opposition. I don't know if he really means what he's saying. I don't know what the deal is, but I do see a lot of that from the left now where they're like, okay, now we get it. Now we understand what the complaining was about. We don't like the right. We don't like them, but now we get it. And at that point, once it starts hitting home for them, just like you said, they got to feel it. And at that point, that's when we're going to start seeing those significant changes in society where it's like, okay, enough is enough. We're going to have to agree to disagree on this. We don't like how it felt. Wah, but let's just change things. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be a selfish motivation or not, I think things are going to change once it keeps happening to people like that. But hey, I appreciate the time, man. As always, God bless and keep doing what you do.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Like I see the point people make about that. It's like that. It's not that I'm celebrating censorship. It's celebrating them having the same thing happen to them that they want to happen to us. that they realize they're not invincible. They can't just say whatever they can't just keep talking about, hey, you guys over there should get censored. You guys are racist. You guys are X, Y, and Z. Well, wait a minute. Now you got to feel it. Now you got to understand what it feels like to be on the other side. Now what you going to do? You're not special. You're not anything. And they got to be able to understand what's going on. And if they don't, they're not really going to be able to help in the fight. You know, if they don't feel it and they don't help, that's one thing. Okay, whatever. But you got to get more of them kind of on board. I would say they may not be conservative all the way. They may not necessarily be on our page, on our same side on everything. But at least on some things, they could kind of, you know what I mean, give their 2 cents and be against it. And then once they're against it, people that follow them, that like their anti-conservative rhetoric, they may begin to kind of rethink things. That's kind of what I'm thinking about personally. They got to feel it. Let's go to the next one here. 405 and online. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, it's me, Devin. How's it going?
It's all good, man. About yourself?
Not much. It's kind of lucky because I also want to talk about that Whoopi Goldberg controversy, if you don't mind.
Alrighty.
Listen, I'm not going to. I'm just going to kind of add on here a little bit because, you know, it's just kind of ridiculous what she said and all, but I'm just going to say this. What she said was stupid, okay? Let's just say that. But what she forgot to say was that there was more than the 6 million Jews, because from what I've been told, it was more like around 11 million people that died in the Holocaust. Because if I remember right, it was, you know, I think it was like political opponents and people that he thought was unworthy of his master race, like the disabled, both mentally and physically disabled. Now, I would be qualified as disabled by that crazy white man standard, if you know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
Now, I'm just utterly disgusted that she thinks that, well, it's not a race issue when that crazy guy said that Jews were not a race, when he said Jews were a race. I mean, those were that crazy white man's words himself.
Right.
And yet we are constantly reminding these people of history, and yet we shows how ignorant they are at times. I mean, like, I'm educating myself on these events, so I know how not to do and how to treat people better. I mean, I want to educate myself so I can be a better person.
Right, of course.
Because do I say stupid stuff all the time? Yes. Do I say what could be a racial slur or something be insensitive? Absolutely. I mean, like, I don't want to hurt people's feelings by not being correct, but I want to make sure that I'm not saying something stupid by accident. So that's why I'm making sure that I'm learning about events like the Holocaust. I'm learning about every major event in history, so I do not, you know, make a mistake like what Whoopi did. I mean, like, she's like, what, 50 or 60 years old?
Yeah, she's pretty much up there. She's probably like in her late 60s, early 70s, something like that.
And it feels like the young is educating the old on these type of things.
Yeah, I mean, people like Whoopi Goldberg, I think the main thing with her is that she sees racism from just her perspective, just from an American, just from the whole color thing. But she's just ignorant to the way things operate around the world. That's all. And she just was refusing to look at things any different.
Yeah, I mean, like, she sees race as skin color. I see race as, like, the human race. I mean, like, you yeah, your skin color may be different than mine, your facial features may be different than mine, but you're still the same race as I am. We're a part of the same race, that is the human race.
Right on, man.
You're feeling me, ABL?
I got you 100%. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Oh yeah, thanks, man. Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. All right, it's caller. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. What's up, man? This is Adam.
All right, what's happening?
Oh, nothing much, man. I was listening to your conversation before the last caller. I just wanted to call in and kind of add a little input to it. Something I've come to realize when you're talking about, how the leftists have to go through the same things we've gone through before we'll see some significant change. And
hold on just 1 second. There's a lot of background noise. Like, do you have a window roll up like it?
Oh, no, I don't think so. It might have been my mic. Is it better now?
Oh, we good to go, yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
Well, now it's back. I don't know what happened. Like, are you outside or something?
No, I think it might be my computer mic is messed up or something.
Okay, well, keep on going. I think you're straight now for now.
Okay, sorry about that. Some technical difficulties. But anyway, for the audience, I'm just going to propose this. If you think of the most leftist person in your family, in your friends, at work, the most leftist person that you know, and you try to imagine what it's going to take to convince that person to see things, or at least open the door in their mind to see things from the angles that you do. Now take that and imagine what it's going to take for that person to see the light, so to speak, and then prepare yourself for that in the future. Because I think that we have to be prepared, especially as Christians, to suffer through this so the people that aren't can see the light of God and can come into his good graces. And we're built to suffer for that. We're built to endure a certain amount of persecution for that. So if you just imagine what it's going to take to convince the most leftist person that you know of what's actually going on and the truth, that's what I think people should prepare themselves for. Prepare yourself for more censorship. Prepare yourself for maybe more shortages or more things like that. Stock up on supplies, medical stuff. Start informing other people in your community. And that's how you'll get through this. And then in the end, those people that shun you, that'll call you a terrorist, that'll call you a bigot or a racist, are going to come to you for information, for knowledge, for even maybe just a shoulder to cry on. And that's what we have to be ready to do and be there for. And that's really just all I wanted to add to the conversation.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. All right, Victor, what's happening?
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
No problem.
Sorry for for what happened on Wednesday, because as I was getting ready to talk, I heard my daughter just start screaming after she woke up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I had to go into dad mode right quick.
Yeah. She woke up. She was scared. I had to go comfort her.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Anyway, man, the left really came to Whoopi Goldberg's defense, saying that, oh, this is wrong, and the NBC morning show actually said cancel culture is getting out of hand.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, really? Is that what you're going to say right now? That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, have people been warning you about this, that it's going to go, it's going out of line, and now you want to listen?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, they should have saw this coming with all the changes that happened with YouTube. I remember with those changes when it started with this guy named Carlos Maza, when he was trying to censor Steven Crowder, and even the liberals on there was like, dude, don't do this, because we're all going to get affected if you do it. And look what happened with YouTube.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, also, before I leave about that, with Whoopi Goldberg saying that they're all white, I guess she forgot about all the propaganda, how how Hitler was trying to poke fun at other features that the Jews have, like the big nose.
Oh yeah, like see, that's what I'm saying. Like she don't all she sees is just the color, like in America, but she can't see anything beyond that because in other parts of the world you did have racism. It's because they have the same skin color does not mean anything. I mean, in reality, a Japanese person and somebody from Ukraine have the same skin color, but are they the same? Clearly not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. With the Brian Flores, I'm trying to wonder where is this all coming from? Because he's still in the running with multiple jobs. He's probably the top. He's probably the top person to get the Houston Texans job because I think he has a good relationship with Deshaun Watson, and now he all of a sudden want to sue for racism when he's still in the running for jobs.
I think what's going on with him is he's just trying to just cash out right now. Just cash out, try to be Colin Kaepernick and go that route rather than continuing to coach NFL football.
Man, man, that's so messed up. And with him mentioning all these things, talk about the complaints, it's not really racism because other people experienced this. The one issue that I really have is that just because they show a black person experiencing this, that means that it's racism. When it's none of that at all. I remember we at my job, they had the MLK seminar, where the topic of the seminar is psychological violence to a black PhD student in a predominantly white school. As I was listening to the stories, I was saying, this is not racism. All this, I mean, everything that they were talking about, because I was a PhD student. Every story that they're talking about, other races experience that, especially when you talk about plagiarism, where a PhD student, if y'all don't know, in PhD in the biomedical science field, that in order to get your PhD, you have to publish a paper. And the one thing that they don't want to do is get their research work taken up and somebody else writes it. Every single person experienced that, but yet though they were talking about, oh, this black person experienced it, therefore racism. That's messed up.
Right. It is.
Yeah. So anyway, last thing, the update. You remember I told you about? No. Let me talk about this part here.
Okay.
The Matt Walsh. You remember with him going to what's that guy? Dr. Phil's show.
Oh yeah, with the transgenders.
Yeah. Do you know the background of that?
No.
Yeah. I found out the reason why he went on the show is because he became the #1 bestseller LGBT book on Amazon.
Matt Walsh did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Basically, he's poking fun at transgenderism in his children's book that I think it's called Johnny Wants to Be a Walrus or something like that.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah. And he became the best seller on Amazon. Of course, they took him out once they pointed it out. But yeah, that's why he got picked to go on Dr. Phil, because of him becoming a bestseller on a book poking fun at transgenderism.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't even know that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, and those of you, if y'all want to check it out, he basically got 5 stars. Only 2 people gave him 1 star. Anyway, thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Wow, that's hilarious. I didn't even know that about Matt Walsh. Shout out to Matt Walsh. Hey, writing them books, it helps. I need to write a book. I've been saying that for years. Maybe I'll do it one day. Just pop out with a book, just randomly, surprise. Like, here's a book. Okay, let me get to some more here. The number to call, 434-658-1220. And you guys on the drill. 503 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL.
What's going on?
Wow, I got through. I just want to say how much I really enjoy your channel, and I watch it every Saturday. I wanted to talk about the Great Reset for a little bit.
Okay.
A couple callers called in before about it. I've been thinking a lot about diet and what we eat lately, and the scariest thing to me about the Great Reset is the fact that they're willing to feed everybody fake protein, fake food, and bugs in the future, and they're getting away from meat and beef and things like that, and everyone's becoming malnourished and more sick, and there's more diabetes and things like that, and I think that's the thing that everyone has to stand up against starting now.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not even really sure what's the purpose of them trying to feed us the synthetic food. Like, is it like lab grown? What is it? I don't really understand, because if you're talking about plant-based stuff, it can't be because of environmental reasons, because agriculture takes a lot of toll on the land. So I don't really understand the purpose of them trying to do this. I don't really get it.
I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but you can make the plant-based food very cheaply and then sell it and make a lot of money doing that. And then also they're tied in with the pharmaceutical industry. So if people are sick, then they can sell them the insulin and the medicine because they'll be sick. And they'll get you on both ends on that way. But I think the big picture is that these businesses and big corporations can make a lot of money selling bad food. Like everybody eats breakfast cereal, the box that the cereal is in costs more than the cereal itself. And it's not any good for you. You're better off eating bacon and eggs or something for breakfast, not cereal. But,
oh yeah, of course. Like like one thing about me, like I'm a big diet guy. Like when I go to the store, like first of the month, and I see people's carts, I see junk, complete junk all the time, and it's no wonder why people are sick, because they're eating garbage, like literally garbage. And people like Lizzo eat garbage on Instagram like it's a cool thing to do, and it's like you got this thing that is attacking obese people, and you're celebrating becoming more obese and being a pig eating random garbage. Personally, like what I had today, I had some fish, I had some steamed fish with some rice, some broccoli. Like that's my diet generally all the time. Anything else, I'm not really a big fan of.
Fish is great, vegetables are great, but I think when you eat a lot of processed food or junk, you don't get full because it's not nutritious. So then you just want to eat more. And if you don't realize that, even if you try to cut back or even if you try to get in shape, you're behind the eight ball because you can't, because you're always hungry.
Yeah.
So, eating the nutritious stuff, broccoli and fish, you're going to be full. So.
That's right.
But I just want to thank you for your channel. I've learned a lot watching you this past year. You helped red pill me. So thank you very much.
Thank you for the call, man. I appreciate you.
You bet.
That's a really good call. That diet is very important. Part of my awakening, the red pill moment, was changing my diet too. Like my diet, I don't really play around too much. Like for snacks, I have pretzel nuggets. What else? Blueberries. I keep like fresh blueberries, grapes, like that type of stuff. That's what I'm on. A lot of water. No drinks with sugar in it or too much artificial sweetener. Like this hint water. The only thing bad about it's in the plastic bottle, but it's okay. I'll take that. But naturally flavored, no artificial sweeteners, nothing like that. That's kind of what I'm on. No ad. I'm just saying this is what I rock with. Coconut water. I still drink that. But I've not had soda or anything like that in a long time. That's the worst thing to drink. That's you might as well just stab yourself in the organs drinking that soda. Let me get to the next call. All right, hold on, I'm speaking to you, 907.
Hey. Yep.
Yes. Hello, can you hear me?
Calling from Alaska.
All righty, what's going on?
All right. Is this ABL?
Yeah, turn the stream down in the background for me, please.
All right, will do. Hey, ABL. So I'm here talking about the Whoopi Goldberg thing, and seems I believe she knew what she was doing. You know, when it comes to the white on white Jew, the Jews are a very old race, and for her to think it was just a white on white thing is kind of weird. But and in going from a very American context, she might also be saying, you know, might very easily look at it like the problems amongst the races here should remain amongst themselves. Therefore, actually promoting a racial divide. And I kind of think that's kind of the way the Democrat socialists are going. So,
yeah, they've already pretty much they're trying to implement that right now. Like I was watching one of these school board meetings, and one woman was talking about the teacher dividing her classroom up, the kids in the classroom by race. And then there was like this whole lecture about privilege and stuff like that. So they're pretty much already doing that. And I was watching someone else. It might have been Lauren Chen. Also a Roman millennial. She was talking about her experience at college where they would put you in the dorm based on your race. Like it didn't tell you they were doing it, but they were just doing it. She kind of saw what was happening, like, because she's Asian or mixed race Asian. But if you see her, she's obviously like she's Asian. So they just happened to put her in an area with a bunch of other Asians. And she saw on the other end of the dorm, it was like some black folks and then some whites over there. So they're already doing that. And they want to just make that be the norm across the board. What they say, they want to have a multicultural center, a safe space. That's all code words for segregation.
Yes, sir. Yeah. It's funny, the schools up here in Alaska, the one that they're sending my kids to now, it's a little bit different, but now for discipline, they want to hand out different color cards for how bad they are. And the kids got to carry them around. And it's not exactly the same thing, but it's part of this agenda of this. We were talking about the social crediting type thing. It's on that idea, getting the kids kind of used to that. You know, as far as the morality goes, it's card-based, bureaucrat-based, as opposed to coming from the family, God, what have you, your own moralities and stuff like that. And so, you know, two big issues here that's going through the schools from these Democrat, socialist type mentalities. Anyway, you know.
Right on.
Yeah. Well, hey, ABL, you're the greatest. If you ever run for president, you got my vote. And appreciate everything you do. Thanks.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Bye.
All right, let's get to the next one here. The number to call, 434-658-1220. 904 on the line. 904 hung up. It's not my fault, 904. The Obama phone ran out of minutes, I suppose, right at the last minute. Okay, let's go to. Hold on one second. Okay, let's try 904. 904 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, my name is Debbie from Jackson, Florida.
All righty, what's going on?
Hey, I just wanted to bring up what the guy had. A guy brought up earlier about how what the big deal was with focusing on Russia and why the media and stuff's focusing on Russia, and I think that the Biden crime family has dealings over there, like with Hunter being in that Ukraine. In Burisma, and then also Joe Biden threatening to not give money to, unless they fired that prosecutor. And I think that a war in Russia and in Ukraine would, I can see where they wouldn't mind if Ukraine burned. along with any evidence.
Well, that could be a way to cover your tracks, most certainly, or they could just eliminate those who were involved. So you never know. They could do it both ways.
So that's all I really wanted to say. I love your show, and I appreciate you taking my call.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Have a great night. Bye.
That's a good point, though. It's like, okay, what's really going on? What are they going to do? What's the real reason they're trying to get Ukraine and Russia, all that kind of stuff? Why are they trying to be in the news? Like, what's really happening? All right, let me get to some more here. 570, you're on line. What speaker to? Hello, 570.
Hey, bud, how you doing today?
Everything's right about yourself.
I'm great. I forgot we're 30 minutes behind. Let me turn this down.
All righty.
30 seconds. Hey, yeah, man. Anthony, sir, thanks for taking my call.
No problem.
I just want to talk about, I live in the city of Harrisburg, PA. It's a super, I guess, D plus something city. And a lot of folks, totally hate the right, I guess, in a sense. But when the riots happened and all this stuff happened, and when you walk down my streets, everyone is nice to each other. No matter what color you are, everyone's super nice. And I didn't see it locally when we would think it would in a city of where I lived in, of where there's supposed to, people of different, there's, a lot of blacks, a lot of whites, a lot of other people who come from Nepal and all that stuff. But you don't see it locally. The message out in the world was wrong.
You said what now? What was the last part you said?
The message out in the world was wrong.
Okay.
It wasn't like that locally in the city where you think that might happen,
Right. Yeah, that's how it goes a lot of times. You'll see one thing on mainstream media or international media, whatever, but a different thing actually out there on the ground floor.
Yeah, man, it was a beautiful thing. But I also wanted to talk about, this whole thing worked out now, so you answered my call, and I appreciate it. I want to tell you I appreciate you. You rock. I come on Saturday nights every once in a while when I'm home, and you crowd, your chat, your callers, man, everyone's fantastic. You guys have a great community here.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate that.
And last but not least, shoot. ABL.
Yeah, I'm
here. Thank you for your time. I blew it. I'll talk to you next time.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it.
That dude.
All right, shout out to the caller. Good call. Let's get to some more. All right, let's go. All righty. Caller on line, speaker to 707. Hello, 707.
Hey,
yeah. Yes, sir. What's going on?
Not much. How are you tonight?
It's all good, man. Can't complain.
Just been watching your show. Hey, one thing, I'll put my tinfoil hat on, and from the previous, I think it was the caller before the last ones. Biden don't want Russia and Ukraine because Russia will expose Biden.
Well, yeah.
The reason I call, get into all of that corruption that went on and expose it, and that's why Biden don't want Russia and Ukraine. But anyway, I just wanted to comment on that trucker convoy up there in Canada, man. That is crazy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so good. I want to identify as an attack helicopter and fly up there. Anyway, keep doing what you're doing, man. Love you.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate
Thanks
you.
for taking the call.
No problem.
All right, bye.
Yeah, that convoy is something else up there in Canada. And, I think they'll be successful. Ultimately, they'll be able to get what they have, what they desire. 215 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, how's it going?
It's all good. About yourself?
Everything's good. So basically, give me a split second. Trying to remember what I was about to say. Oh yeah. So basically, here's what I wanted to touch on now. Do you believe I'm starting to see infomercials, like commercials, that we have to watch out for China and, keep an eye on China. Basically, join the U.S. Army because they said China's starting to advance.
Oh, really? Is that happening right now?
Yep.
Wow. So where are you seeing this? Are you seeing it like online or on TV? Where are you seeing it?
Well, not on. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it's TV, but mostly online ads, popping up on ads, mostly through YouTube. So yeah, those are starting to pop up now.
Wow, interesting, very interesting. Well, I mean, hey, they're trying whatever they can to, get people to join up, because people that know, they know that that's the actual problem. But I'm surprised they're showing those ads. I'm surprised they're not talking about Russia being the problem, because that's what they've been promoting on the mainstream media. So that's interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, on actual YouTube, like they're showing like freaking China. It's like, oh, China's the enemy. You gotta watch out. Our enemies they're starting to advance. Just basically telling us to keep an eye on China. That we can't trust China.
Wow, interesting.
Which was kind of a shocker. And then another issue I wanted to touch on. Basically, what happened. Oh yeah, remember back in the mainstream media, they were all saying, you could be immune from the coronavirus. You could have the coronavirus and not know you have the coronavirus.
Yeah, I've not heard the immune part on television, but I have heard that you could be asymptomatic.
Yeah, you could still have the virus and not show symptoms. Remember that part?
Yeah.
So get this, right? So, but I talked to a lot of doctors and nurses, and they said it's just another cold. So I don't remember anybody ever being immune from a cold. So I put two and two together.
Right. So basically, it's like, okay, when they say immune, it's like, well, it might not cause a problem. It might not really be a big deal. That's essentially it. So if you got a little cough or a sneeze, to say, oh no, that ain't the virus, that's just regular cold, when it's not much of a difference really.
Exactly. That's what that's my thing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, that's all I really had to say, ABL. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, have a good one.
All right, shout out to the caller. But yeah, this virus stuff, it's pretty much a cold at this point. And if that's a good point. It's like you're not immune from no cold. If you could get a cold every year potentially, or you could get a cold more than once. Who knows? All right. You're on line speaker to 937.
Hey, what's up? My name is Carlos Gomez.
All righty, what's happening?
Okay, thanks for having me on. So I actually wanted to give you some input on some things that are going to be happening next couple of days. I am a 17-year-old senior in high school, and well, there's a couple mask mandates. Not a couple. I mean, just a whole bunch of mask mandates implemented nationwide on our schools, and students are starting to actually rise up and protest and do walkouts. So I just want to let you know that was going to be happening. So yeah.
And that sounds good to me for sure. That's a good thing, because I mean, I think we all know that the masks they don't even work, regardless of whether they should be mandated or not, which they shouldn't be. They don't even work. So what's the purpose? So that's a good thing that you guys are doing.
Yeah. So actually, my school, I got a few students, and we also got a few parents too. When I say a few, I mean like a couple dozen. And we performed a protest, and then they completely cut off the mask mandate. So it works. Protesting works. So for the viewers out there, please protest. Please actually stand up for your kids.
100%. Loving it, man. Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, man. See you.
That's fantastic, man. That's what I'm talking about. Young men out there, 17 years old, standing up for himself, standing up for what's right. Now, I can get behind that 100% all day long. So shout out to the young man doing what he's supposed to be doing all day. All right, let's go to the next one here. 334, you're online. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, this is Russ. I'm in Knoxville. The Whoopi Goldberg thing with the how. I just want to tell you how intolerant they are. I recently bought a house in Tennessee. I collect war memorabilia, so I have, especially World War II stuff. So I have, American flag with a helmet and medals and stuff. I also have an Italian one with a helmet and medals and stuff. I have two flags that I'm not very proud of, but I do own, and that is a German, the red and white one with the little symbol everybody hates.
Right.
And then I have a SS flag. Well, I had it all in the garage as I was moving in, and my neighbor, which I learned very quickly is a hardcore liberal.
Oh boy.
Came over and saw that. And even after showing her the rest of my collection, this lady called the police on me.
Wow.
And,
bad start.
And told the cops that they need to confiscate that.
Bad start to a relationship or your neighborly. So, I mean, did they come? Did they confiscate? What happened?
Oh, no. The cops said, no, there's nothing I could do about that.
Right. Okay.
He's not flying in the front yard.
Right.
I mean, I hang, like I have a room where I set it up to where, I look at it because I enjoy it. But, for other people, if they want to come over and look at, I have old, like an MP40 that was dug out of the ground on the Eastern Front. So, but I mean, it was just crazy. Even after showing her all this and explaining it to her that I'm just a collector, she was just intolerant about it. And so I showed her I have an SS flag, Hitler's black shirted thugs. I showed her that. She didn't even know what that was.
Right. Of course not.
And that's, in my opinion, that one's worse than the swastika flag.
Correct.
Because that's the actual group that was doing it.
That was the enforcers. But, that's what it was. That was the bad guys for real.
Right. And so she didn't even know what that was. She was all okay with that one, but that red, white, and black flag, I mean, that was, needless to say, whenever she sees me outside, she just, she turns around and runs back inside. My wife tried to go over there and talk to her, and my wife's a liberal too, unfortunately.
Oh man.
But,
well, hey, if y'all making it work, then that's great. So I say hats off to you, man. You got a lot of things to juggle in your life, I suppose.
Well, neither one of us are intolerant. We both understand our opinions are very vastly different, so we don't talk about them.
That's great. That's good.
Well, I appreciate it, ABL. I just figured you'd get a kick out of that. I just moved here to Tennessee, and I listen to you every Saturday.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. And I think the young man that called before, you guys say he was a YouTuber. Maybe I cut him off too early. That's my fault. But if I did, was that Gomez Media? If that's someone, know who that is. But if you're in the chat, young man, let me know what your YouTube is. If you have a YouTube channel, if I'm correct about Gomez, y'all let me know. But my man that just called in with the collectors, that right there is crazy because first of all, why are you in my garage? Don't be all in my garage. You know what I mean? I could have a whole blow up doll in here. That's my business. You in my property and my business. Let me handle that. Why are you calling the federales on me? I don't have no nuclear weapon in here, so why are you calling the popo? And then they're not gonna do anything. Don't be a bad neighbor, right? I'm not gonna be all in your garage looking at your boxes and seeing what's in there. That's not my business. All right. That's just what it is. Unless I see a roach collection with no kind of gate on it, and they're just kind of crawling around, then I'm not going to be really tripping. Whatever you got, that's your business, okay? And as far as the flags, people don't know. They don't really, again, it's the brainwashing. You see on television, they keep talking about this flag, the Nazi symbol, all this, that, and the third, the swastika. Keep talking about that. They don't even understand the history of the swastika. It was about peace. And they don't even understand that the Nazi party were an actual political party. It was a government in Germany at that time. Not saying what they did was right as a government in Germany, but that's the reality of what they were. They weren't just, that's not just a symbol of racism. It's a symbol of like a state government. It's just this fact. So if you have World War II memorabilia, that'll be part of it. You have an American flag, all the other flags are involved with it. That's just what it is. So shout out to him. You know what? Hopefully, I didn't ask him where he lives. I ain't want to put him out there. But I'm thinking Knoxville. That's probably what would happen in Knoxville. Not Knoxville, pardon me, Nashville. Knoxville is cool. I like Knoxville. I'm in Chattanooga. Chattanooga's lit. But if you're living in Nashville, you probably would have something like that happen because you got a bunch of California expats moving to Nashville wanting to try and be in Rome and do as the Californians. But if you're in Rome, do as the Romans, not the Californians. If you want California, go to California. If you're in Nashville, be in Nashville. You know, put on the cowboy boots and the hat, go do some line dancing or something. You know, go pick some strawberries and have some lemonade, sit on the porch and wave at your neighbors. Don't be in there trying to, you know, be like Gavin Newsom and Eric Garcetti. If you want that, go back to that. But I digress. I'm getting triggered talking about California. Let's get to the next call. 419, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, this is Jesse Mendez, a.k.a. Torito Jess. Yeah, I just turned the background off.
All righty. Good to go. So what's happening?
Oh, taking my call.
Oh, it's all good. You know, it's all good. So what's on your mind?
Well, I wanted to maybe spread a little hopium here. Listening to tonight's show and listening to your show for a while. Plus, I also do some podcasts and come on to other shows. But one of the things that we have to remember is the real enemy is the media. If you go on these other shows and talk to other people, you find that we have a small minority of people that are making a lot of noise. And at the same time, we have a large majority of young people who have, you know, like most of us are the quiet majority. Like that young man today, a little earlier with his walk out of school for the mask. There's a lot of young people looking at it and going, yeah, that's right. So I don't want to say we're not going down a bad path, because we are, but I do see that there is a generation out there that's thinking more rational than a lot of people. So let's just, you know, help them out. And as far as when people get red pilled, yes, we need to stand by, help them up, guide them through what they're going through. Because they will hurt. I've been there.
That's right.
You know, so I really appreciate you being on here. I've been, for the last couple of days, I've been watching the convoy. Been watching Via Fry's live feeds. Wow, so many people. As a matter of fact, if you go to his video, I bet you said around 3 hour mark. He's over there with the counter protesters. There's probably about 50 of them compared to the rest of the truckers that are there. I mean, they're just completely outnumbered. But he got a couple good interviews with them, and saw that some of them were just like way too far gone. Then there was a couple there that he got an interview with one guy who thought, you know, maybe let me think about that. So, you know, that's good. It is not as bleak as the media makes it out to be. And that's what's driving it. It's the media driving this insanity.
That's right.
That's all I got to say for tonight.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
No problem. Have a good show. I'm loving this show too, by the way.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
All right. All right.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great call. All righty. All righty. Okay. I don't know what's happening here. Let me try to get to. That's weird. Okay. Let's go. 480, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All righty, what's going on?
Hey, I'm from Arizona. Longtime fan, man. Appreciate what you're doing. I just want to get your thoughts on something. Right. How soon do you think that the U.S. will follow other countries that are ending their restrictions and kind of go into an endemic phase?
I say sometime this year. It's going to have to happen. I say by the summertime. It'd be a national thing, in my opinion, because what's happening right now is that a lot of the states are doing it. Like in Tennessee, we don't have any of that. It's just not. Yeah. We do pretty much. We're pretty much back to normal. Nobody's wearing masks. Ain't nobody doing no distance, and we do whatever we want. Now, some places not like that, but I think throughout the country it'll be back to normal in the summertime when the virus won't even really be an issue anymore.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of the trajectory of like what's going on, like the phase and like cases coming down and stuff like that, but there's still like places like California and New York that like just seem to like they will not let go, of this. Like, why not let a good tragedy go to waste, kind of thing,
Yeah, I mean they're holding on, but it's been too long now. People have the fatigue is set in. The fatigue is already there. People are done with this whole thing.
Yeah,
so they're ready to move forward.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like like with Canada and what they're doing, I think that kind of woke up a lot of people here in the United States too. So.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Appreciate your opinion. Take care, buddy.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Yeah. Take care.
All right, shout out to the caller, but that will be a wrap for the calls. If you couldn't get on tonight, it's not my fault. Please blame the white man. I'm not responsible. But thank you guys for being here. You guys have been the best audience. You guys are always the best audience anywhere on the internet. If you enjoyed tonight's show, please give the video a thumbs up. If you're listening to me on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether that be Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, Anchor, Apple iTunes, etc., please give the audio a 5-star review, a like, a share, a comment, whatever you can. I'd appreciate that. And I got super chats on deck, and then I'm gonna wrap it on up, put the bowl on top. Thank you to the mods for keeping the channel in check, keeping them trolls out of the way. So we're gonna read these right quick, and then we'll move right along. Let me see. Thank you to Rick E for the donation. Thank you to the anti-view who says the only advantage to living in negative 15 below Minnesota, the idiots will not last long here if, quote, things hit the fan, unquote. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Living in a cold place like that, yeah, the rioters ain't going to be rioting too much. And that bone-chilling weather. Thank you to Raymond who says, sir, I've told you this on the phone once. I watch all your vids all the time, but not the lives. Long form allows us to know the person. Happy to be here. Well, I'm glad you're here, boss. Thank you for that. I appreciate you 100%. Thank you to Kerplop who says, Theodore needs to understand the Fed and bankers are not his friends. Hashtag the confusion is real. Butt versus Windshield says, Michael Rappaport has his vid where he's talking in the park and gets a snowball to the face. The dude can be heard. Shut up, you bleep. No one cares. Yeah, I heard that. That was a funny video. Tom's Wild and Wonderful View says, isn't it interesting if you disagree or have a different opinion than the establishment in Canada and the United States? Both sets of leaders call anyone disagrees racist and fringe minority. Exactly. When in reality, the government are the fringe minority. Talk about that part. They're the fringe minority. What's Congress, like 100 people? Well, senators, like 100 people. Less than 1,000 people in government, or right around that if you count the staffers and whatnot. But 1,000 people in government, but they want to call us the constituents, the minority, the fringe minority. And I thought they were all for minority rights. It's weird. They always contradict themselves. Double standards. This is the norm. Thank you to Richard who says, quote, build back better, unquote. Sounds a lot like MAGA. Make America great again, build back better. Sounds a similar, cadence. So they made a BBB a global thing after the fact of the actual copycat Biden thing of build back better. Thank you to Goosey Lou for the Haya cat emoji donation. Thank you to Tom's Water Wonderful Views who says, Whoopi canceled the boyfriend Ted Danson for wearing blackface, even though she knew he was going to do it. But when it came out, he did it. She dumped him in a heartbeat to be mainstream. Makes sense. Thank you to Orlando 08 who says, I still don't understand why China is getting a pass to hold the Olympics after starting and spreading the virus. Exactly. Thank you for making me laugh. Love the sarcasm. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Shout out to Mike Tyson II for your donation. Shout out to Dark Skies for your donation. Thank you to Lonnie XX who says, I love you. Thank you for that. Thank you to Unified TV who says, you've got to do the Shaq impersonation again. Oh, man, it's time to go, man. It's time to go, man. Shaquille O'Neal. We're going to go back to the LA Lakers, and we're going to get the championship. We're going to get the big rings. all right, we're going to get everything. We're going to get Phil Jackson. He's going to be back here. We're going to get Phil Jackson to get red pill. He's going to have a red pill moment. We're going to give him a T-shirt. We're going to be the best in the world. Shaquille O'Neal, I'm the greatest. Chuck, you have no rings. I have all the rings. All right, that's enough. So shout out to Shaq for making an appearance tonight, making a cameo. Thank you to Duke Luke, who says, fresh Florida swordfish tonight. Florida privilege. Hey, sounds great to me. That fresh swordfish, delicious. F. Ranger Xbox says, CommuNet has a mask mandate for schools, so I went to Harbor Freight and got my 9-year-old a cartridge mask, $18 better seal, and you can breathe. There you go. 100%. That bass was kicking on it. No, that bass was right on point, huh? Shout out to Bo versus Windshield, who says, NIH has studies that prove masks don't work. John Hopkins says mandates and shutdowns don't work. Our leaders are science deniers. Go Canada truckers. Facts. 100%. Can I do the Shaq voice all night? It can't last all night. No, I can't do that. Thank you to Richard Everett, who says, I need a new conspiracy. I need a new conspiracy. All the ones I have haven't proven true. Right. Tom's Water Wonderful, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you to Robin G, who says, people ignore fact that at WHO press conference in June 2020, top infectious disease epidemiologist and stated asymptomatic transmission is extremely rare. Shout out to Joe Ryder 84, who says, what is your opinion on Black History Month? I think that having the month is just a way for corporations to sell you goods and to run advertisements to show how virtuous they are. It's brand recognition, brand development stage. We're pro-Black. Look at our kente cloth. That's what it's about to me. I think Black history is American history, and I'm a history buff. So I'm studying history all day, every day. It's not 1 month. It's a constant thing of learning and being able to understand history, not just Black or white or Puerto Rican canyon stripe. I'm talking about all history, American history, and world history. That's kind of what I'm on. So thank you to WJ Valente, who says, ABL, there is talk of, quote, climate lockdowns, unquote. If that occurs, how do you think they will manage that? They're not, because we pretty much done with the lockdowns already. It's not really going to work out too well. Thank you to Jay, who says, Democrats and BLM money laundering. Thoughts? Oh, yeah, BLM definitely money laundering. They came out and said that it's a bunch of money in BLM that's unaccounted for, and there's nobody really there to, funnel the money from point A to point B. There's nobody in charge of the money right now officially, so it's just going pretty much wherever. Yeah, that's facts. It's just like the music industry. These rappers, that ain't nothing but money laundering all day long. Shout out to Bo versus Windshield, who says, Washington Commanders, ? What do we call them for short? The commies? Hilarious. But thank you for that. That'll be a wrap for me. I appreciate you guys for coming on tonight. I'll be back live again on Wednesday. And of course, I'm not live, but I'll put out pre-recorded videos all throughout the week, Monday through Saturday. So I'm off tomorrow on Sunday, but I'll see you guys again on Monday with pre-recorded, Wednesday again with the live. And I should be back on Tatum's live next week. We'll see how that goes. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.